The waiter brings Elara's third glass of wine, and she doesn't even glance at him. She's too busy laughing at something Morella Dane just said about a resort in Tulum. I'm sitting at the end of the table, closest to the wall, where the acoustics turn every conversation into a reminder that I don't belong here. The restaurant is one of those places where the menu doesn't list prices and the lighting is deliberately dim to make everyone look better than they actually do. Elara picked it. She always picks these places, venues where she can be seen, where the right people might notice her, where the atmosphere itself becomes a kind of currency she can spend later in conversation with her colleagues. I'm wearing a button-down shirt and khakis. Everyone else is in designer brands I don't recognize. Brent, one of Elara's co-workers from the PR firm, is wearing a blazer that probably cost more than my monthly car payment. Morella has on something with strategic cutouts that seems designed to make everyone else feel underdressed. Elara herself is in a black dress that she bought specifically for tonight, though she didn't tell me that. I just know because the tags were still in the shopping bag on Tuesday. "Rowan, you're awfully quiet tonight," Morella says, turning to me with that polite smile people use when they're checking a box, acknowledging the irrelevant spouse. "Just listening," I say. Elara doesn't look at me. She's scrolling through her phone now, half listening to Brent talk about a brand activation event in Manhattan. I know the look on her face. It's the one that says, "Please don't embarrass me. I haven't said anything embarrassing. I've barely said anything at all." The conversation flows around me like water around a stone. They talk about brands I've never heard of, influencers whose names mean nothing to me, events that sound exhausting. Someone mentions a yacht party in the Hamptons. Someone else talks about a private tasting at a Michelin-starred restaurant. Elara contributes enthusiastically, laughing at the right moments, nodding knowingly, performing the role of someone who belongs in this world. I cut into my steak. It's cooked perfectly, medium rare, seasoned well, probably $30 a plate. I'll pay for my own, like I always do. Elara stopped letting me pay for her meals at these dinners about 6 months ago. She said it was because she makes more money now, because it's easier to expense things through the company, because it doesn't matter. But I know what it really means. It means she doesn't want to owe me anything. It means she wants the freedom to pretend I'm not here. "Rowan works in facilities management," Elara offers suddenly, like she's explaining a minor footnote to a much larger story. "Infrastructure stuff. Very practical." Morella nods, already losing interest. "Oh, that's important work." "It is," I say. No one asks me to elaborate. The conversation shifts back to Tulum, to someone's boat, to a charity gala Elara's organizing for a skincare brand that promises to reverse aging with peptides and botanical extracts. I listen without really hearing. I've learned how to do this, how to be present without participating, how to occupy space without making demands on it. Brent leans back in his chair, gesturing expansively with his wine glass. "Elara, you've got to bring him to the next event. We need more regular people there. Makes the whole thing feel authentic." Elara laughs. It's a sharp, nervous sound. "Rowan's not really the networking type." "I'm fine with that," I say. She glances at me just for a second, and I see it, the flash of irritation. I've said the wrong thing, or maybe the right thing at the wrong time? I'm never quite sure anymore. The waiter clears our plates. Morella orders dessert, something chocolate with gold leaf. Brent orders another scotch. Elara orders another glass of wine. I order nothing. I'm not hungry, and I don't want to extend this dinner any longer than necessary. "You know what's funny," Brent says, leaning toward Elara, "is that you'd never guess you two were together. You're so polished, so put together, and He trails off, gesturing vaguely in my direction. "Different," Morella offers diplomatically. "Exactly," Brent says. "Different." Elara smiles, but it doesn't reach her eyes. She takes a long sip of wine, then sets the glass down carefully. She's weighing something, deciding whether to say what she's thinking or keep it to herself. She decides to say it. "Honestly," Elara says, leaning toward Morella, her voice just low enough that she thinks I won't hear, "I honestly feel ashamed bringing you around my friends. Next to them, you look so inferior." She doesn't whisper it. She doesn't need to. It's a casual observation, delivered with the same tone she'd use to comment on the weather or the quality of the wine. The table goes quiet. Not completely. There's still ambient noise from the restaurant, the clinking of silverware, the murmur of other conversations, but our little corner falls into a suspended silence, where everyone suddenly finds something else to look at. Morella shifts uncomfortably, glancing between Elara and me. Brent clears his throat and takes a very deliberate sip of his scotch. Someone at the far end of the table says something about the dessert menu, trying to redirect attention. I set my napkin on the table, fold it precisely, and stand up. I pull out my wallet, count out enough cash to cover my portion of the meal, plus a generous tip, and place it on the table next to my water glass. I'm heading out, I say. Elara looks up, surprised. What? Why? Tired, I say. Rowan, don't be... I'm already walking toward the exit. I don't look back. I don't need to. I can feel her staring, calculating whether to follow me or save face in front of her friends. She'll choose the latter. She always does. The hostess near the door looks confused as I pass. People don't usually leave high-end restaurants alone in the middle of dinner. I push through the heavy glass door and step out into the night. Outside, the air is cool, sharp against my skin. It's late October, and the temperature's starting to drop. I can see my breath when I exhale. The street is busy, cars passing, people walking, the usual rhythm of the city that never quite sleeps. I walk 3 blocks before I stop, leaning against a lamppost, and let myself breathe properly. She's ashamed of me. Not disappointed, not frustrated. Ashamed. I think about the way she said it, so matter-of-fact, like she'd been holding it in for months and finally found the right audience. And I think about the silence that followed, the way no one corrected her, the way they all just let it sit there, because they agreed, or because they didn't care enough to disagree. I pull out my phone and check the time. 9:47. She'll text me in about an hour, maybe 2, asking where I went. She'll frame it as concern. She'll say I overreacted, that I'm being sensitive, that she didn't mean it the way it sounded. She won't apologize. I pocket my phone and start walking again. I don't know where I'm going yet. Home feels too close, too immediate. I need time to think, to process what just happened without her presence complicating it. I walk for nearly an hour, weaving through neighborhoods I barely recognize, past closed storefronts and late-night diners and bars spilling light and noise onto the sidewalk. I'm not trying to get lost, but I'm not trying to find my way either. I'm just moving. Eventually, I circle back toward home. The apartment is dark when I arrive. She's still out, still at dinner, still laughing with her friends about God knows what. I don't turn on the lights. I sit on the couch in the darkness and stare at nothing. Silence, I'm realizing, unsettles her more than anything I could say. Three days pass before she brings it up. We're in the kitchen. She's making coffee. I'm reading the news on my tablet. Morning routines. We've perfected the art of coexisting without really seeing each other. The apartment is small, 1 bedroom, decent light, a kitchen that's functional but cramped. We moved here 4 years ago when Elara got promoted and needed to be closer to her office. I adjusted my commute to make it work. That's how it usually goes. She's wearing her work clothes, tailored blazer, blouse, the kind of outfit that says I belong in boardrooms. Her hair is pulled back tight, no strand out of place. She's scrolling through her phone while the coffee brews, occasionally making small sounds of irritation at whatever she's reading. You embarrassed me the other night, she says suddenly, not looking up from her phone. I don't look up from my tablet. Did I? You just walked out, in the middle of dinner. I paid for my meal. That's not the point, Rowan. I set the tablet down and meet her eyes. She's still holding her phone, thumb hovering over the screen like she might go back to scrolling at any moment. What is the point? I ask. She hesitates. I can see her rewinding the conversation, trying to remember exactly what she said. She won't admit it, though. That would require acknowledging she was wrong. You could have at least told me you were leaving, she says finally. I did. You know what I mean. No, Elara, I don't. She pours her coffee, adds cream from a small ceramic pitcher, stirs with a spoon that clinks against the ceramic. The sounds are precise, controlled. She's buying time, trying to figure out how to navigate this conversation without actually addressing what happened. The silence stretches. I wait. I've learned that waiting is more effective than pushing. People fill silences with truth when they're uncomfortable enough. Mirella texted me, she says eventually. She asked if everything was okay. Between us. What did you tell her? I told her you've been stressed at work. Right. She takes a sip of coffee, watching me over the rim of the cup. Have you? Have I what? Been stressed. No more than usual. She nods, but I can tell she doesn't believe me, or maybe she doesn't care. She checks her phone again, scrolls through something, probably emails, maybe messages, then sets it on the counter with a soft click. I've got a meeting at 10, she says. I'll be home late. Okay. She pauses at the doorway, looking back at me. Rowan? Yeah? Don't do that again. Do what? Walk out. It makes things awkward. I pick up my tablet, opening an article I'm not actually interested in reading. I'll keep that in mind. She leaves. I hear the front door close, the sound of her heels clicking down the hallway toward the elevator, the mechanical hum as the elevator arrives. Then silence. I sit there for a long time, staring at the coffee maker, thinking about the word she used. Awkward, not hurtful, not cruel, not something that needs to be addressed or apologized for. Just awkward. Like the problem isn't what she said, it's that I heard it. It's that my reaction created social discomfort for her. I finish my coffee, I rinse the cup, I go to work. I spend the morning running through project schedules at work. We're in the middle of a retrofit on a municipal water treatment facility, replacing outdated valve systems, upgrading control panels, coordinating with contractors who all think their timeline is the only one that matters. It's meticulous, unglamorous work. The kind of thing people like Brent would never think about, even though it's the reason his office has running water and functioning toilets. My office is in a low-rise building near the industrial zone. Gray walls, fluorescent lighting, the persistent smell of coffee and printer toner. Most of the people here are engineers, project managers, logistics coordinators. We don't talk about brand activations or influencer campaigns. We talk about load calculations and compliance standards and whether the contractor's electrician actually has the right certifications. It's a world Elara has never seen. She's never visited my office. I've invited her a few times over the years, but there's always a reason she can't make it. Too busy, wrong side of town. Not really her thing. My phone buzzes around noon. A text from Elara. Having lunch with the team. Might grab drinks after. Don't wait up. I don't respond. There's nothing to respond to. It's a statement, not a question. At 2, I get a call from Jonah Mercer. He used to work in my department before transferring to regional logistics about 18 months ago. We've stayed in touch, mostly because he's one of the few people who doesn't treat every conversation like a networking opportunity. Halverson, he says when I pick up. You busy? Moderately. Good. I need your opinion on something. Got time for coffee? When? Now works. I glance at my screen. I've got a meeting at 4 to review contractor bids, but nothing urgent before that. Sure. Where? That place on 7th. The one with the terrible pastries. See you in 20. Jonah's already at a corner table when I arrive, nursing an espresso and flipping through something on his phone. He's older than me. Mid-40s, graying at the temples, lines around his eyes that suggest he's spent a lot of time squinting at spreadsheets and blueprints. He's the kind of guy who looks like he's seen enough to stop being surprised by anything. Rowan, he says, nodding toward the empty chair across from him. I sit. The cafe is nearly empty. Mid-afternoon lull, just a few people scattered at tables, working on laptops or reading. The barista is wiping down the counter with slow, methodical movements. What's the emergency? I ask. No emergency. Just wanted to get out of the office. He slides his phone across the table. Take a look at this. It's an email chain, something about a scheduling conflict on a cross-site logistics project. I skim it, noting the usual inefficiencies, overlapping contractor windows, unclear responsibility assignments, no contingency plan if one phase runs late. Typical mess, I say, sliding the phone back. Right? I told them we need a buffer week, but no one listens. They're so focused on hitting the deadline that they're not thinking about what happens when, not if, when something goes wrong. Welcome to project management. He laughs, but it's a dry sound. Yeah, so how are things with you? Haven't seen you around much lately. Been busy. The water treatment retrofit is eating up most of my time. How's that going? Slowly. Contractor keeps trying to substitute cheaper materials. We keep having to push back. Fun. Thrilling. He leans back, studying me with that perceptive look he has, the one that suggests he's reading more than just what I'm saying. You look tired. I'm fine. Elara still running you ragged with her social calendar? I don't answer immediately. Jonah's perceptive. Too perceptive sometimes. He has a way of asking questions that sound casual but aren't. She's busy, I say. That's not what I asked. I sip my coffee. It's lukewarm, bitter, over-extracted. Things are fine. Uh-huh. He doesn't push, but I can tell he doesn't believe me. He's quiet for a moment, then says, You ever think about taking a break? Getting out of the city for a weekend? Ah, not really. You should. Clear your head. Go somewhere quiet. I live somewhere quiet, Jonah. He laughs again, but there's no humor in it. No, you live somewhere tense. That's different. I don't argue. He's not wrong. We talk for another 20 minutes. Work stuff, mostly. contractor horror stories, budget overruns, the incompetence of various municipal agencies. Jonah tells me about a project in Queens where the site inspection revealed that the previous contractor had basically faked half the work, signing off on installations that were never completed. Now they're months behind and way over budget trying to fix it. The thing is, Jonah says, nobody caught it because nobody was really looking. Everyone just assumed the paperwork matched reality, and that's how systems fail. Not dramatically, but through accumulated negligence. Sounds familiar, I say. Yeah, I figured you'd get it. When I get up to leave, Jonah stops me. Hey, he says, if you ever need anything, backup on a project, someone to vent to, whatever, just call. Appreciate it. I'm serious, Rowan. You look like you're carrying something heavy. I nod. I'll keep that in mind. Outside, the afternoon is cooling down. The sun is lower in the sky, casting long shadows across the pavement. I check my phone. No new messages from Elara. I open our text thread, scrolling back through the last few weeks. Most of it's logistics. Can you pick up dry cleaning? I'll be late. Meeting ran long. Need you to sign for a package. Nothing personal, nothing warm, just functional communication between two people who happen to share an address. I close the app and head back to the office. Elara's schedule changes in small ways at first. Nothing dramatic, nothing I could point to and say, this is wrong. She starts leaving earlier in the mornings, 7 instead of 8. She says it's traffic, new projects, early calls with the West Coast. I nod. I don't ask questions. Why would I? People's schedules change. Work gets busy. It's normal. She comes home later, 8, 9, sometimes 10. She's tired, distracted. She kisses me on the cheek, quick, mechanical, the kind of kiss you give a relative at a holiday gathering, and goes straight to the bedroom. I hear the shower running, then silence. When she emerges, she's in pajamas, hair damp, face scrubbed clean. She'll sit on the bed with her laptop for another hour, occasionally typing something, more often just scrolling. I start paying attention, not because I'm suspicious, not yet, but because patterns are what I do for a living. I notice when systems deviate, when timelines don't align, when someone says they're doing one thing but the data suggests another. In my line of work, small inconsistencies are red flags. They're the first indication that something larger is wrong, a contractor cutting corners, a timeline that's been padded with false assurances, a compliance issue that everyone's pretending doesn't exist. I apply the same lens to Elara's behavior, not consciously at first, but instinctively. It's how my brain works. I see patterns, I track changes, I note deviations. On a Tuesday, she tells me she has a client dinner downtown, somewhere near the financial district, she says. A new beauty brand launching a prestige line. She'll be home late, don't wait up. I'm working late myself, finishing up documentation for a contractor audit. The office is quiet. Most people leave by 6, but I like the silence, the ability to focus without interruptions. Around 8:30, I take a break, stretching my legs, rubbing my eyes. I pull out my phone and open the location sharing app we've used for years. It started as a practical thing, knowing when the other person was on their way home, coordinating pickups, that sort of thing. We've never turned it off, never had a reason to. I tap on Elara's icon. She's not downtown, she's in Greenpoint, near the waterfront. Nowhere near any restaurant I know, and definitely not near the financial district. I stare at the little blue dot for a full minute, watching it stay perfectly still. Then I close the app. Maybe the client changed venues. Maybe they're scouting a location for an event. Maybe the restaurant has a second location I don't know about. Maybe I'm overthinking. I tell myself that. I go back to work. I finish the audit documentation, send it off to my supervisor, shut down my computer. I drive home through light traffic, park in our building's garage, take the elevator up to the 4th floor. The apartment is dark. She's not home yet. I don't turn on many lights. Just the lamp in the living room. I sit on the couch with a book I'm not really reading and wait. She comes home around 11. I hear her keys in the door, her footsteps in the entryway. Hey, she says, dropping her bag on the chair. You're still up. Couldn't sleep. How was your day? Long? Yours? Exhausting. That client is so demanding. Everything has to be perfect. I'm sure you handled it. She smiles, but it's distracted. I'm going to shower. Be out in a bit. She disappears into the bedroom. I hear the water running. I sit there, staring at the book in my hands, not seeing the words. On Thursday, she mentions she's meeting her friend Casey for drinks after work. Casey's in marketing, works for a startup in Chelsea. Elara talks about her occasionally, usually when she's complaining about how hard it is to find good help for events. We're just going to catch up, Elara says that morning over coffee. Haven't seen her in weeks. Sounds good. Don't wait up, you know how Casey is. Once she starts talking, she doesn't stop. Have fun. I'm home by 6. I make dinner, pasta, nothing fancy, and eat alone at the kitchen table. I clean up, load the dishwasher, wipe down the counters. The apartment is too quiet. I turn on the TV for background noise, but I'm not watching it. Around 8, I check the app again. She's not in Chelsea. She's in the West Village, near a wine bar I've never heard of. I close the app. I open it again 5 minutes later. She's still there. I put the phone down, face up on the counter, and stare at the ceiling. This is the moment where I could call her. Ask where she is. Make it a non-issue. Just checking in. Wanted to make sure you're safe. Wondering when you'll be home. But I don't. Because if I'm wrong, I'll look paranoid, controlling, insecure. She'll have a perfectly reasonable explanation, and I'll be the one who doesn't trust her, who checks her location like some jealous teenager. And if I'm right, I don't finish that thought. Instead, I go to bed early. I lie there in the darkness, listening to the sounds of the city through the window, distant sirens, car horns, the low rumble of the subway passing underneath the street. She comes home around 11. I hear her in the bathroom, brushing her teeth, moving quietly like she's trying not to wake me. She slides into bed beside me. The mattress shifts with her weight. I keep my breathing steady even, like I'm asleep. She doesn't touch me. She doesn't say anything. She just lies there on her side, facing away from me, and eventually her breathing slows and deepens. I don't sleep for another hour. The weekend is uneventful. We run errands, grocery shopping, dry cleaning, the hardware store because the bathroom faucet is dripping and I need a new washer. Elara spends Saturday afternoon on her laptop, responding to emails, occasionally sighing dramatically at something she's reading. Everything okay? I ask at one point. Fine, just work stuff. Anything I can help with? Not unless you suddenly developed expertise in influencer contract negotiations. I'll pass. She smiles briefly, then goes back to her screen. Sunday, she suggests we go for brunch. It's unusual. We haven't done brunch in months. But I agree because it feels like an effort, like she's trying to do something normal, something that resembles a functional marriage. We go to a place in Park Slope, crowded, loud, the kind of spot where you wait 40 minutes for a table and the food is good, but not good enough to justify the wait. Elara orders avocado toast and a mimosa. I order eggs and coffee. How's work? She asks once we're seated. Busy. We're in the middle of a retrofit at the water treatment facility. That's good. How about you? Crazy. We just signed a new client, beauty brand, really high-end. They want a full campaign by March. Sounds stressful. It is, but it's exciting, you know? This could be huge for us. If we execute well, it could lead to more contracts in that space. I nod. She talks for a while about the client, the creative direction they're considering, the logistics of coordinating influencers and media buys and event spaces. I listen, watch her face. She's animated, confident. This is the version of Elara I remember, the one who loves her work, who lights up when she talks about strategy and execution. It's also the version that makes me realize how little she talks to me like this anymore. When the food arrives, the conversation dies. We eat in silence. She checks her phone twice, typing quick responses to something. I don't comment. The walk home is quiet. She loops her arm through mine halfway there. It feels performative, like she's playing the role of a wife who's content. I don't pull away, but I don't pull her closer either. This was nice, she says. Yeah. We should do it more often. Sure. She squeezes my arm. I know things have been busy with both of us, but we're good, right? I glance at her. She's looking straight ahead, not at me. We're fine, I say. She smiles. It doesn't reach her eyes. Monday, I start documenting. Not because I've decided anything, not because I'm planning for some future confrontation, just because it feels necessary, like maintaining a log, evidence of a pattern. I open a blank document on my laptop, password protected, saved locally, not in the cloud. I create a new folder buried 3 levels deep in my file system, name it something innocuous. Project Archive 2024. Inside, I create a text file. I call it Timeline. I start with dates and times. Simple observations. No interpretation, no conclusions, just data. October 8th. Said she was downtown, Financial District client dinner. Location showed Greenpoint waterfront, home at 11:15 p.m. October 10th. Said she was meeting Casey in Chelsea. Location showed West Village, Home at 11 p.m. I don't write about how I feel. I don't speculate about what she's doing. I just record the facts. Over the next 2 weeks, the pattern solidifies. She's out late 3, sometimes 4 nights a week. Her location rarely matches what she tells me. The discrepancies aren't huge, different neighborhoods, different parts of the city, but they're consistent. She's vague about details. Client meeting ran long, traffic was terrible, got caught up talking. When I ask specific questions, where exactly was the restaurant, which client was it, she provides answers that are technically plausible but lack detail. Generic responses that could apply to anything. She stops asking about my day. She stops initiating conversation. When we're in the same room, she's on her phone, scrolling, typing, smiling at something I can't see. I don't confront her. I watch. I document. I wait for a pattern to become undeniable. On a Wednesday evening, I come home early. My last meeting got canceled, the contractor had an emergency on another site, and I decided to skip the gym. I walk in around 5:30, expecting the apartment to be empty. I hear her voice from the bedroom. She's on the phone, laughing. I set my bag down quietly by the door and move toward the hallway. The bedroom door is half open. I can see her reflection in the mirror. She's lying on the bed, propped up on one elbow, phone pressed to her ear. She's wearing casual clothes, yoga pants, and a t-shirt, her hair pulled back in a ponytail. "No, I can't tonight," she says, still laughing. "I told you, I have that thing. Tomorrow, though, definitely." A pause. She's listening to whoever's on the other end. "Yeah, I know. I miss you too." Another pause. Her smile widens, softens. It's an expression I haven't seen on her face in months. Maybe longer. "Stop. You're ridiculous." She's speaking quietly, intimately, in a tone I barely recognize anymore. I step back, moving into the kitchen before she hears me. I close the front door loudly, like I'm just arriving. "Elara," I call. "In here." I walk toward the bedroom, making sure my footsteps are audible. She's sitting up now, phone in her lap, expression neutral. "Hey," she says. "You're home early." Meeting got canceled. "How was your day?" "Good. Long? I've got a dinner thing tonight, so I'll probably head out around 7. "Client dinner?" "Yeah. New campaign kickoff. Very preliminary, lots of logistics to discuss." "Where?" She hesitates, just for a second. "Midtown, some Italian place the client loves. I forget the name." "Sounds nice?" "It'll be boring, honestly. A lot of small talk and pitching. You know how it is?" I nod. "Well, have fun." "Thanks. You going to be okay for dinner?" "I'll figure something out." "Okay, I should start getting ready." She stands, moves past me toward the bathroom. I catch a hint of her perfume. Something new, something I don't recognize. I leave her there and go to the kitchen. I pour myself a glass of water, drink it slowly, then open my laptop. I add a new entry to the document. October 23rd, home early at 5:30 p.m. Overheard phone conversation from bedroom. Quote, "No, I can't tonight. Tomorrow, though. Definitely. Yeah, I know. I miss you too." Tone intimate, laughing. Told me afterward she has a client dinner in Midtown Italian restaurant. Will verify location. At 7:15, after she's left, I check the location app. She's not in Midtown. She's in Williamsburg, near the waterfront. Not moving. I close the laptop. I sit in the darkening apartment, listening to nothing. I'm not wrong. The lie comes on a Friday morning in late October. Elara tells me she's flying to Boston for the weekend. Client meeting, site visit, some logistics for an event they're planning in November. A boutique hotel is opening in the Seaport District, and the beauty brand she's working with wants to do an influencer launch there. She needs to see the space, meet with the hotel's events coordinator, finalize some details. "It's going to be a quick trip," she says over breakfast. "I'll leave Friday afternoon, be back Sunday evening." "Do you need a ride to the airport?" I ask. "No, I'll just take a car service, easier than dealing with parking." "Okay, when's your flight?" "Around 2. I should leave here by noon to be safe." "LaGuardia?" "Yeah." She's efficient about it, matter of fact. It sounds completely reasonable. Business trips aren't unusual for her. She travels maybe once a month, sometimes to other cities, sometimes just day trips to Philadelphia or DC. This is normal, except something about it feels off. I can't articulate what exactly, just a subtle wrongness, like a measurement that's within tolerances but not quite where it should be. She packs Thursday night after work. I watch from the bedroom doorway as she pulls her small roller bag from the closet, the one she uses for short trips. She packs efficiently, 2 changes of clothes, toiletries, her laptop case, a folder of printed materials. She's done this enough times that she doesn't need to think about it. "What's the hotel called?" I ask. The Harbor View. It's new, just opened last month. Sounds nice? Should be. They're really pushing the luxury angle. Perfect for what we're doing. She zips the bag closed, sets it by the door, ready for tomorrow. Friday morning, she's out the door by 9:30, earlier than she needs to be, but she says she has some work to finish at the office before heading to the airport. I watch from the window as the black sedan pulls up. One of those car services that's nicer than a taxi, but not quite a limo. She slides into the back seat, not looking back at the building. I wait 10 minutes, then open the location app on my phone. She's heading toward LaGuardia. The route makes sense. BQE to Grand Central, then north. I watch the blue dot move along the expressway, tracking her progress in real time. By 10:30, she's at the airport. That checks out. Flight at 2, arrive at noon to be safe. She's early, but that's typical for her. She doesn't like rushing. By 11, she texts me. Boarding soon. I'll call you tonight. Safe travels, I reply. I go to work. I sit through meetings about the water treatment retrofit. A contractor is trying to argue that we should accept a substitution on some valve assemblies. Cheaper manufacturer, supposedly equivalent specs. I spend 45 minutes explaining why that's not acceptable, referencing the original specifications, the compliance requirements, the long-term maintenance considerations. It's the same thing, the contractor keeps saying. It's not, I keep explaining. The material's composition is different. The pressure tolerances are different. The expected lifespan is different. We specified the original manufacturer for a reason. Eventually he gives in, but I can tell he's annoyed. They all get annoyed when you actually hold them to the specifications they agreed to. Around 3, I check the app again. She's still at LaGuardia. That's fine. Flights get delayed, weather, mechanical issues, air traffic. It happens all the time. I don't think much of it. 4 o'clock. Still there. Now it's strange. Even with a significant delay, she'd be in the air by now, and the location would have stopped updating unless she hasn't taken off at all. 5 o'clock. Still there. I feel something shift in my chest. Not panic, exactly. More like recognition. The feeling you get when a system failure you've been half expecting finally manifests. At 6, the blue dot moves. Not toward Boston, toward Manhattan. I sit in my car in the parking lot, engine off, phone in my hand, watching her location update in real time. She's heading south on the FDR, then cutting west through the city. By 6:30, she's in the East Village. She stops moving. I zoom in on the map. She's on a residential block. Not a commercial area. No hotels nearby. No obvious business district. Just apartments and brownstones. I sit there until 7, waiting to see if she moves again. She doesn't. I drive home on autopilot. I make dinner, rice, chicken, vegetables, and eat mechanically, tasting nothing. I clean up, I load the dishwasher, I wipe down the counters. All the normal evening routines, performed by muscle memory while my mind runs different calculations. She said she was flying to Boston. She's in Manhattan. At 8 o'clock, my phone rings. It's Elara. I let it ring twice before answering. Long enough to sound normal, not so long that it seems like I'm avoiding her. Hey, I say. Hi, just wanted to check in. The meeting went well. We're grabbing dinner now, then heading back to the hotel. Her voice sounds normal, relaxed. Maybe a little tired, but that would make sense if she'd had a long day. Good, I say. How's Boston? Cold. I forgot how much windier it is here than New York. Yeah, the harbor. Exactly. But the hotel is beautiful. You'd love it. Very modern, lots of clean lines. Remind me to show you pictures when I get back. Will do. How was the flight? Fine. A little bumpy during landing, but nothing terrible. I'm still watching the location app on my laptop screen. The blue dot hasn't moved. She's still in the East Village. How was your day? She asks. Fine. Quiet. Had some contractor issues, but nothing I couldn't handle. Well, I'll let you go. Just wanted to say hi. Love you. Love you too. She hangs up. I stare at the phone for a long time. Then I look back at the laptop screen. She's still in the East Village. Same spot. Not moving. I open the document. I add a new entry. October 25th. Told me she's flying to Boston for business trip, event planning, site visit. Flight supposedly at 2 p.m. from LaGuardia. Location showed her at LaGuardia 10:30 a.m., 6 p.m. At 6 p.m., location moved to East Village, Manhattan, residential block. Still there as of 8 p.m., called me at 8 p.m., claimed she's in Boston, had dinner after successful meeting, heading back to hotel, mentioned cold weather, harbor wind, bumpy landing. I closed the laptop. I don't feel angry. I don't feel betrayed. I feel clear. Like a system finally making sense after weeks of inconsistent data. She lied. Not a vague evasion, not a half-truth, a deliberate, verifiable, detailed lie about where she was and what she was doing. Saturday passes slowly. I spend the day at home catching up on things I've been putting off. I clean the apartment thoroughly, vacuuming, dusting, scrubbing the bathroom, organizing kitchen cabinets. Physical tasks that keep my hands busy and require no real thought. I check the location app periodically. She's still in the same spot in the East Village. The blue dot doesn't move all morning. Around noon, it shifts a few blocks west, then stops again near Tompkins Square Park. She doesn't text me until early afternoon. Morning meetings went long, about to grab lunch. Hope you're having a good Saturday. You too, I reply. I go for a walk. The weather's nice, cool but sunny, leaves starting to turn. I walk with no particular destination, just moving through the neighborhood, letting my mind process everything. When I get back, I check the app again. She's moved again, still in the East Village, but a different block, near some restaurants on Avenue A. At 7, she texts again. Dinner with the client. Like the long day. Miss you. Miss you too, I reply. I heat up leftovers for dinner. I eat in front of the TV, watching something I'm not really following. My phone is on the coffee table, face up. I glance at it occasionally, but she doesn't text again. I check the app at 9. She's back at the original location, the residential block. She stays there all night. Sunday morning, she texts around 10. Heading to the airport soon. Should be home by evening. Can't wait to sleep in my own bed. I check the app. She's moving. Heading north toward LaGuardia. The route is consistent with someone driving from the East Village to the airport. She arrives at LaGuardia around 11:30. The blue dot stays there for nearly 2 hours. Then it starts moving again, back toward the city, toward Brooklyn, toward home. She walks in around 5:30, rolling her suitcase behind her, looking appropriately tired and slightly disheveled. She's wearing comfortable travel clothes, jeans, a sweater, sneakers. Hey, she says, dropping her bag in the bedroom and coming back out to kiss me on the cheek. How was Boston? Exhausting, but productive. The client's really happy with the venue, so that's what matters. I think this event is going to be incredible if we execute it right. She goes to the kitchen, pours herself a glass of wine from an open bottle in the fridge. Want anything? She asks. I'm good. She sits on the couch next to me, curling her legs underneath her, taking a long sip of wine. How was your weekend? She asks. Quiet. Got some things done around the house. Good. I'm glad one of us was productive. She smiles, reaching over to squeeze my hand. I missed you. Missed you too. We sit there for a while, the TV on in the background, neither of us really watching it. She scrolls through her phone with one hand, holding her wine glass with the other. Did you fly out of Logan, or was it one of the smaller airports? I ask casually. She glances up. Logan, why? Just curious. I've never been to Boston. Oh, well, it's a nice airport. A little crowded, but manageable. Much better than Newark. How was the hotel? You said it was new? Yeah, the harbor view. Really beautiful. Very modern design. Huge windows overlooking the water. The event space is going to photograph incredibly well. She's good at this. The details are specific enough to be convincing. If I didn't know better, I'd believe her completely. Sounds like a successful trip, I say. It was. Definitely worth going. I nod. She finishes her wine, sets the glass down, and leans against me. I'm exhausted, she says. I think I'm going to take a bath and go to bed early. Okay. She kisses my forehead and stands up. Don't stay up too late. I won't. She disappears into the bedroom. A few minutes later, I hear the bath running. I sit there in the quiet apartment, staring at nothing. Later that night, after she's asleep, I sit in the kitchen with my laptop open. I pull up the document. I read through all the entries, tracing the timeline, confirming the pattern. She lied. Not a vague half-truth, not an omission, a deliberate, verifiable, detailed lie with specific false information about flights, hotels, weather, meetings. She told me she was in Boston. She was in Manhattan, in the East Village, at what appears to be a residential address, for 2 full days. I think about calling her out, confronting her directly, showing her the location data, forcing her to explain. But what would that accomplish? She'd deny it. She'd find some explanation. The app must be wrong. There must be a glitch. How dare I track her movements like some paranoid controller? She'd flip it around, make me the villain, make this about my trust issues instead of her lies. And even if she admitted it, even if she broke down and confessed, what then? Would she tell me the truth? Would she apologize? Would anything actually change? No. This isn't the kind of problem that gets solved with a conversation. I close the laptop. I don't need a confrontation. I need a plan. November starts cold and gray, the kind of weather that makes the city feel smaller, more claustrophobic. Everyone hunches into their coats, walking faster, avoiding eye contact. Elara's been different since the Boston trip that wasn't. More careful, maybe, or more confident. I can't tell which. She still goes out 3 or 4 nights a week. She still comes home late. But now she's better about the details, more specific about locations, more consistent with her stories. She's learned to be a better liar. Or maybe she just thinks I've stopped paying attention. I haven't. I've just stopped reacting. On a Thursday evening, she tells me she's going to a networking event, some industry mixer for PR and marketing professionals. It's at a gallery in Chelsea, starts at 7, should be done by 9:30. You should come, she says, but the way she says it makes it clear she doesn't actually want me to. I've got work to catch up on, I say. She looks relieved. Okay, well don't wait up. These things always run longer than they're supposed to. Have fun. She leaves at 6:30, wearing a dress I haven't seen before, dark blue, fitted, professional but expensive looking. She's put more effort into her appearance than usual. Her hair is styled differently, makeup more deliberate. I wait until 7, then check the app. She's in Chelsea. The location matches what she told me. For once, she's actually where she said she'd be. I go back to my laptop, working on some documentation for the retrofit project. Around 8, I get a text from Jonah. You busy? Grab a drink? I consider it for a moment, then reply. Where? That bar near your place. The one with the decent beer selection. Give me 20 minutes. I change into jeans and a sweater, grab my jacket, and head out. The bar is half full when I arrive. Jonah's at a table in the back, already working on a pint of something dark. Halverson, he says, nodding toward the empty chair. I sit down, flag the bartender, order an IPA. Thanks for coming out, Jonah says. I needed to get out of my apartment. My upstairs neighbor is having some kind of renovation emergency and there's been drilling for 3 hours straight. Sounds terrible. It is. How are things with you? Fine, same as always. He studies me for a moment. You're a terrible liar, you know that? I'm not lying. You're not telling the truth either. He takes a sip of his beer. But I'm not going to push. Just wanted you to know I'm here if you need to talk. Appreciated. We sit in comfortable silence for a while. The bar fills up a bit more. People coming in after work, groups of friends, a couple on what looks like a first date. The noise level rises, providing a kind of acoustic cover that makes private conversation possible even in a public space. Can I ask you something? Jonah says eventually. Sure. How's Elara? I don't answer immediately. I take a long drink of my beer, considering how much to say. She's busy, I finally respond. That's not what I asked. She's fine. Work is going well for her. Jonah nods slowly. You ever notice how people in relationships have 2 ways of talking about their partners? There's the we way, we're doing great, we're planning this trip, we decided to try that new restaurant. And then there's the she way, she's busy, she's fine, she's got a lot going on. You always use the second way. Maybe I'm just more precise with language. Maybe. Or maybe you've stopped thinking of yourselves as a unit. I don't respond. There's nothing to say that wouldn't confirm what he's already figured out. My phone buzzes. A text from Elara. Event running late. Probably won't be home until 11. Don't wait up. I check the location app. She's still in Chelsea, still at the gallery, presumably. Everything okay? Jonah asks. Fine. Elara's at a work thing. On a Thursday night? Networking event. He doesn't comment, but I can see him processing it. Jonah's been married and divorced. He knows what certain patterns mean. We finish our beers. Jonah orders another round. We talk about work, a new project he's coordinating, some bureaucratic nightmare involving multiple departments and contradictory requirements. It's the kind of conversation that's easy because it's technical, focused on problems that have solutions. Around 9:30, my phone buzzes again, heading to an after-party with some people from the event. We'll be late. Sorry. I stare at the message for a moment, then check the app. She's moving, not toward home. Heading south, deeper into Manhattan. You need to go? Jonah asks. No, just Elara letting me know she'll be late. Right. He pauses. You know, when my ex-wife started staying out later and later, I told myself it was work, that she was ambitious, that she was building her career, that it was temporary. Was it? No, it was a guy from her office. Took me 6 months to admit what I already knew. He finishes his beer. I'm not saying that's what's happening with you. I'm just saying sometimes we lie to ourselves because the truth is harder to deal with. I nod. Thanks for the beer, Jonah. Anytime. And Rowan? When you're ready to stop lying to yourself, you know where to find me. I get home around 10. The apartment is dark, quiet. I don't turn on many lights. I sit on the couch with my laptop and open the location app in a browser window. Elara's in the West Village now, near the same wine bar where she was supposedly meeting Casey a few weeks ago. The blue dot stays stationary for over an hour. I open the document and add a new entry. November 7th, said she's attending networking event in Chelsea, gallery PR marketing mixer. Confirmed at location 7 now or 9 now 30 p.m. At 9:30 p.m. texted about after party. Location moved to West Village, wine bar, same location as October 10th. I close the laptop and go to bed. She comes home after midnight. I hear her trying to be quiet, shoes off in the entryway, careful footsteps, the bathroom door closing softly. When she slides into bed, she smells like wine and something else. Cologne, maybe. Not hers. I keep my breathing steady. She doesn't know I'm awake. The following Tuesday, Elara tells me we're meeting some of her friends for dinner. Not asks, tells. It's at that new place in Tribeca, she says. The one that just got reviewed in the Times. Morella made a reservation weeks ago. Who's going? Morella, Brent, a few others from work. It'll be fun. You should come. The way she says it suggests it's not optional. This is a command performance. Now, she needs me there for some reason, probably to maintain the appearance of a functional marriage. What time? 7:30. We should leave here by 7. Okay. Saturday arrives. I spend the day working on some overdue maintenance around the apartment, fixing a stuck drawer in the kitchen, replacing weather stripping on the front door, organizing the storage closet, mindless physical tasks that create a sense of accomplishment without requiring much thought. Elara spends most of the day getting ready. Hair appointment at noon, nails at 2, then an hour in the bathroom doing makeup. By the time we leave, she looks perfect. The kind of perfect that takes significant effort, but is meant to appear effortless. I'm wearing dark jeans, a button-down shirt, a blazer. It's the most dressed up I ever get, and I can tell from Elara's expression when she sees me that it's not quite right. Not wrong enough to comment on, but not right either. We take a car service to the restaurant. The ride is silent, except for Elara checking her phone every 30 seconds. The restaurant is exactly what I expected. Low lighting, exposed brick, tables too close together, a menu with descriptions longer than the dishes themselves. We're the last to arrive. Everyone else is already at the table, drinks in hand, mid-conversation. There they are, Morella calls out, waving us over. Elara slides into the open seat next to Morella. I take the seat at the end, next to someone I don't recognize, a guy in his early 30s wearing a blazer over a t-shirt. Rowan, this is Tyler, Elara says without looking at me. He's new on the team. Hey, Tyler says, offering his hand. I shake it. Nice to meet you. The conversation flows without me. They're talking about campaigns, clients, industry gossip. I recognize maybe half the names. I order a beer when the waiter comes around. Everyone else orders cocktails with complicated ingredients. So Rowan, Brent says about 20 minutes in, Elara tells us you're in infrastructure management? Facilities and infrastructure operations. That must be interesting. It has its moments. What exactly does that involve? Project coordination, mostly. Right now I'm overseeing a retrofit at a water treatment facility. Brent nods, already losing interest. Right. Important work. Someone has to make sure the toilet's flush, Tyler adds, laughing at his own joke. A few people chuckle politely. Elara doesn't defend me. She doesn't even acknowledge the comment. She's busy talking to Morella about something else. The food arrives. I eat mechanically, participating in conversation only when directly addressed. Mostly I observe. I watch Elara, the way she laughs at Brent's stories, the way she touches Morella's arm when making a point, the way she leans forward when Tyler talks about a campaign he's working on. I watch her perform, because that's what this is, a performance. She's playing a role, the successful professional, the woman who has it all together, the person who belongs in rooms like this. And I'm the prop that doesn't quite fit the scene. Dessert arrives. Someone orders another round of drinks. The conversation gets louder, looser. Morella tells a story about a disastrous client meeting. Brent complains about a competitor stealing one of their pitches. Then Tyler turns to Elara. So where's your friend tonight? The consultant guy? The table goes quiet for just a second. Barely noticeable, but I notice. Elara laughs, a little too quickly. What friend? You know, the guy you're always meeting for those strategy sessions. Tall, kind of intense. What's his name? Caleb? Elara's smile freezes. Oh, right. Caleb Virex. He's just a professional contact. Helps with growth strategy consulting. Right, Tyler says. You two seem pretty close, though. Always texting during meetings. Morella jumps in. Caleb's great. He did a workshop for us last month. Really insightful stuff about market positioning. The conversation moves on, but I'm still processing what just happened. Caleb Virex. I repeat the name in my head, committing it to memory. The dinner ends around 10. Outside, while we're waiting for our car, Morella pulls Elara aside for a private conversation. I stand a few feet away, pretending to check my phone, but listening. You okay? Morella asks quietly. Fine. Why? Tyler has a big mouth. He shouldn't have brought up Caleb in front of... She trails off, glancing at me. It's fine, Elara says. Rowan doesn't care about my professional contacts. Still, you should talk to Tyler. Tell him to be more careful. I will. It's not a big deal. They hug goodbye. The car arrives. We ride home in silence. Inside the apartment, Elara goes straight to the bedroom. I hear her moving around, getting ready for bed. I sit in the living room, laptop open, adding a new entry to the document. November 9th, dinner with Elara's friends in Tribeca. Tyler, co-worker, mentioned someone named Caleb Virex, described as consultant, growth strategy. Tyler commented that E and Caleb seem pretty close, always texting during meetings. E became defensive. Morella intervened, suggested Tyler be more careful, mentioning Caleb in front of me. E dismissed concerns, said I don't care about professional contacts. I closed the laptop. Caleb Virex. I open a new browser window and search the name. Caleb Virex has a LinkedIn profile, a company website, and a social media presence that suggests he thinks very highly of himself. His LinkedIn photo shows a man in his early 40s, good-looking in a generic way. Square jaw, styled hair, expensive suit. The kind of guy who probably spends an hour at the gym every morning and posts motivational quotes about success. His title, Principal Consultant, Virex Growth Partners. His description is full of buzzwords: dynamic strategic positioning, market disruption frameworks, holistic brand ecosystems. I scroll through his experience. He's worked with mid-sized companies, mostly in marketing and consumer goods. His recommendations are glowing but vague. His posts are frequent. Thought leadership pieces about innovation, leadership, adaptability, the kind of content designed to make him look important. I click through to his company website. It's slick, professional, probably expensive to design. There are case studies, client testimonials, photos of Caleb speaking at conferences. His About page mentions he's based in Brooklyn, works with clients across industries, specializes in growth strategy for emerging brands. His social media is more personal. Photos of him at restaurants, at events, traveling. In several recent photos, there's a consistent location tag, a wine bar in the West Village. The same wine bar where Elara's been spending her late nights. I sit back, processing this information. Caleb Virex, growth consultant, close professional contact, always texting with Elara during meetings, frequent visitor to the same wine bar where she's been lying about her location. I open the document and add his name, along with links to his profiles and notes about his background. Then I do something I haven't done yet. I start planning. Monday morning, I call Jonah. Halverson. He answers. What's up? You busy for lunch? For you? Never. What's going on? I need some advice. Practical stuff. Okay, where? That diner near the office, the one with the good coffee. See you at noon. Jonah's already in a booth when I arrive, working through a plate of fries and scrolling through something on his tablet. Rowan, he says, looking up. You sounded serious on the phone. I am serious. Okay, talk to me. I sit down, order coffee when the waitress comes by. I wait until she's out of earshot before speaking. I need to know someone's schedule, I say. Where they go, when they go there, without them knowing I'm tracking them. Jonah sets down his tablet. This is about Elara. No, someone else. Someone connected to Elara. I don't respond. That's answer enough. Jonah leans back, studying me. You want to be careful here, Rowan. Following people, surveillance, that can get complicated fast, legally and otherwise. I'm not talking about anything questionable, just observation. Public spaces. Things anyone could see if they were paying attention. Right. But why? What are you planning? I'm not planning anything. I just need information. He's quiet for a moment, then nods slowly. Okay. Here's what I know. If you want to observe someone without them noticing, you need to think about patterns. People are creatures of habit. They go to the same places at the same times. Coffee shops, gyms, restaurants. Figure out the pattern. You can predict where they'll be. How do I figure out the pattern without being obvious? Social media is your friend. People post everything. Check-ins, photos, tagged locations. Half the time they don't even realize they're documenting their entire routine. He pauses. But you also need to be physically present sometimes. I'll watch from a distance, note times, locations, who they're with, keep records. I'm already keeping records. Good. Documentation is important. But be smart about it. Don't do anything that could be traced back to you. No direct contact, no confrontations, nothing that tips them off that you're watching. Understood. And Rowan? Whatever you're planning, be sure you really want to know what you're going to find out. Sometimes ignorance is easier. I'm past that point. He nods. Yeah, I figured. That evening, I start watching. Caleb Virex's social media shows he goes to the same coffee shop in Dumbo every morning. Posted photos from there at least 3 times a week, always between 7 and 8 a.m. On Wednesday morning, I take a personal day. I tell my supervisor I need to handle some family matters, no questions asked. I drive to Dumbo, park 2 blocks from the coffee shop, and wait. At 7:20, he walks in. I recognize him immediately from his photos. Expensive coat, designer jeans, leather messenger bag. He orders something complicated. I can see him talking to the barista, gesturing, probably customizing his drink to an absurd degree. He takes a seat near the window, pulls out his laptop, and starts working. I stay in my car, watching through the coffee shop window. He's there for 40 minutes. During that time, he checks his phone constantly, typing, smiling at something, setting it down, picking it back up 2 minutes later. At 8, he packs up and leaves. He walks 3 blocks east, then enters an office building. I make a note of the address. I wait another 20 minutes, then leave. Thursday, I follow the same routine. Personal time, drive to Dumbo, park, wait. Caleb arrives at 7:15 this time. Same coffee shop, same routine. But today, he's not alone. Elara is with him. They're not touching. They're not obviously intimate. But there's a familiarity between them, the way they stand close in line, the way she laughs at something he says, the way he touches her lower back briefly while they're waiting for their drinks. They sit at the same table near the window. They talk for 30 minutes. He shows her something on his laptop. She takes notes on her phone. From a distance, it looks professional. It could be a legitimate work meeting, but it's not. I know it's not because of the way she looks at him, the way she leans forward, the way she smiles, the genuine smile I haven't seen her give me in months. At 7:45, they leave together. They walk side by side down the street. At the corner, they separate. She heads toward the subway. He continues walking toward his office. I sit in my car for a long time after they're gone, feeling nothing, just cold clarity. Friday evening, I check Caleb's social media again. He's posted a story from a wine bar in the West Village, the same one Elara's been visiting. I decide to go. It's risky. If she's there, if she sees me, the entire careful observation falls apart. But I need to see them together. I need to confirm what I already know. I arrive at 9:30. The bar is busy, trendy crowd, craft cocktails, exposed brick and Edison bulbs. I find a spot at the far end of the bar where I can see most of the room without being obvious. I order a beer and wait. At 10, they arrive. Elara and Caleb walk in together, laughing about something. They're not holding hands, but the body language is unmistakable. They find a table in the corner, half hidden behind a structural column. I watch them for over an hour. He orders wine. She orders a cocktail. They share an appetizer. They lean close to talk, their heads almost touching. At one point, he reaches across the table and touches her hand. She doesn't pull away. I finish my beer slowly, keeping my face angled away from their direction. I'm careful not to look directly at them for too long. Just periodic glances, enough to confirm what's happening without drawing attention. At 11:15, they get up to leave. He helps her with her coat. His hand lingers on her shoulder. They walk toward the exit. I wait 3 minutes, then pay my tab and leave. By the time I'm outside, they're already gone. I drive home. I sit in the parking garage for 20 minutes, engine off, staring at nothing. Then I go upstairs. The apartment is dark. Elara's not home yet. I open my laptop and update the document. November 13th. Confirmed visual observation of E with Caleb Virex at coffee shop in Dumbo, 7:15 a.m. Together for 30 minutes. Professional appearance but familiar body language. Separated at corner, E to subway, CV to office. November 15th. Followed CV to wine bar in West Village. E arrived separately at 10:01 p.m. Observed together for 75 minutes. Physical contact observed, hand touching, close proximity, intimate body language. Left together at 11:15 p.m. I close the laptop. Elara comes home at midnight. She kisses my cheek, says she was at a work dinner, goes straight to bed. I don't say anything. I don't need to. I know exactly what I'm dealing with now. The water treatment retrofit wraps up on a Wednesday in mid-November. Final inspection passes without major issues. The contractor grumbles about some of my requirements. They always do, but everything meets specifications. The project manager signs off. I file the paperwork. It's the first major completion I've had in months, but I don't feel much about it. Just another system working the way it's supposed to. That evening, I call Jonah. You free tomorrow? I ask. Depends. What do you need? An extra pair of eyes on something. Nothing questionable. Just observation. Where? Coffee shop in Dumbo, 7 a.m. There's a pause. This is about the person you've been tracking. Yes. And you need backup because I need confirmation that what I'm seeing is what's actually happening, outside perspective. Another pause. Okay, I'll be there. Thursday morning, Jonah and I meet 2 blocks from the coffee shop. He's wearing casual clothes, jeans, jacket, baseball cap. Unremarkable, easy to overlook. What am I looking for? He asks. A man and a woman. They'll arrive separately, but they're together. I need you to watch their interaction. Tell me what you see. That's it? That's it. We position ourselves separately, him inside the coffee shop at a table with his laptop, me outside in my car. At 7:20, Caleb arrives. 2 minutes later, Elara shows up. I watch them through the window. They order, sit together, talk. Caleb's animated, gesturing while he talks. Elara's relaxed, smiling, engaged. After 30 minutes, they leave together, walking to the corner where they separate. I meet Jonah 3 blocks away. Well? I ask. He doesn't answer immediately. He's choosing his words carefully. They're comfortable with each other, he finally says. The kind of comfortable that comes from spending a lot of time together. Physical proximity, mirroring body language, sustained eye contact. She touched his arm twice. He adjusted her scarf when they were leaving. Professional relationship? No, not unless they're very unprofessional professionals. He pauses. That was your wife? Yeah. And the guy? Someone she works with. Growth consultant. Named Caleb Virex. Jonah nods slowly. What are you planning to do? I don't know yet. Yes, you do. You're methodical, Rowan. You don't gather information without a purpose. You're building toward something. I don't respond. He's right, but I'm not ready to articulate what exactly I'm building toward. Just be careful, he says. Whatever you're planning, make sure it's worth it. Make sure you can live with the consequences. I will. And if you need help, practical help, logistics, someone to corroborate a timeline, you call me. Understood? Understood. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. You might not like where this goes. That evening, I sit down with everything I've documented. I print it out, all of it. Dates, times, locations, observations. I spread it across the kitchen table and start organizing it chronologically. The pattern is clear, indisputable. Elara has been lying to me consistently for at least 6 weeks, probably longer. She's been meeting Caleb Virex regularly, coffee shops, wine bars, restaurants. She's been spending weekends with him while telling me she's traveling for work. The Boston trip. The residential address in the East Village where she spent 2 full days. I pull up property records for that address. It's a condo. Owner, Caleb Virex. She spent the weekend at his apartment while telling me she was in Boston on business. I sit back, staring at the timeline spread across the table. This isn't ambiguous. This isn't open to interpretation. This is deliberate, sustained deception. Now I need to decide what to do about it. I spend the weekend thinking through options. Option 1, confront Elara directly. Lay out the evidence. Demand the truth. See what happens. Pros, immediate resolution, forces the issue. Potentially ends the deception. Cons, she'll deny it, minimize it, or turn it around on me. She'll say I'm controlling, paranoid, invasive. The marriage ends, probably badly, and I'll spend years dealing with the fallout. She'll control the narrative with her friends, her family, maybe even professionally. I become the villain in her story. Option 2. File for separation quietly. Consult a lawyer. Begin the legal process without dramatic confrontation. Pros: clean, professional, relatively dignified, minimizes conflict. Cons: she'll still control the narrative. Her version of events, that I was distant, unavailable, impossible to live with, becomes the accepted truth. People will sympathize with her. I'll be the one who gave up, who walked away without really trying. Option 3, do nothing. Accept the situation, become one of those people who knows their spouse is unfaithful but stays anyway. Pros: no immediate disruption. Life continues as is. Cons: unacceptable. I'm not built to live with that kind of cognitive dissonance. Option 4, something else. Something that addresses the actual problem. That Elara sees me as inferior, irrelevant, someone whose feelings and dignity don't matter. Something that changes the power dynamic permanently. I don't know what option 4 looks like yet, but it's the one I keep coming back to. Monday, I call a lawyer, not to file for anything, just to understand my options. What a separation would look like legally, or what I'd be entitled to, what I'd be responsible for, what documentation would matter in court. The lawyer, a woman named Patricia Howe who comes recommended by someone at work, listens to my situation without judgment. Do you have proof of the infidelity? She asks. Documented timeline, location data, visual confirmation. Photos? No. That would help, but it's not essential. New York is a no-fault state anyway. Infidelity doesn't typically affect asset division unless there's financial misconduct, spending marital funds on the affair, that sort of thing. What about documentation of her lies? Could be relevant if there's a dispute about credibility, but honestly, in most cases, these things settle. Nobody wants the expense and exposure of a trial. You document everything, use it as leverage in negotiation, and reach an agreement. And if I wanted to wait, document more thoroughly before taking action? That's your choice. There's no legal advantage to rushing unless there are financial concerns. But the longer you wait, the more complicated your emotional situation becomes. And if she finds out you've been documenting her movements, that creates its own set of problems. Understood. My advice? Decide what outcome you actually want, then work backward from there. If you want out, file and negotiate. If you want leverage, build your case, but be ready to use it. If you want something else, well, that gets complicated. Thank you for your time. Call me if you need anything else. And Mr. Halverson, be careful. I've seen these situations escalate in unexpected ways. Tuesday evening, Elara tells me she's going out with some coworkers. Drinks after work, nothing formal, should be home by 10. Have fun, I say. She leaves at 6:30. I check the app at 7. She's at the wine bar in the West Village, the same one. At 8, I text Jonah. Need to talk. Important. Coffee shop near your place in 20. See you there. Jonah's already waiting when I arrive. We take a table in the back corner, away from other customers. What's going on? He asks. I need help with something. It's going to sound strange, but I need you to hear me out. Okay. I need access to a building, specifically to observe someone's patterns without being seen. Timing of when they come and go, who visits them, that sort of thing. Whose building? Caleb Virex, the guy I showed you last week. Jonah's quiet for a moment. That's surveillance, Rowan. That's getting into questionable territory. I'm not breaking in. I'm not accessing private property. I just need to be able to observe from a vantage point where I won't be noticed. Why? Because I need to know his full schedule, not just the public appearances. The whole pattern. For what purpose? I meet his eyes. Because I'm going to make sure he understands what he's done, and I need to do it in a way that's controlled, precise, and doesn't leave me vulnerable legally. Jonah leans back. You're planning to confront him. Not confront. Pressure. There's a difference. Rowan, listen to me carefully. Whatever you're thinking, intimidation, threats, property damage, that can go wrong in a lot of ways. You could end up with charges, restraining orders, real legal problems. I'm aware. That's why I need help making sure I do this right. Make sure I stay within legal boundaries while still making a point. He's quiet for a long time, weighing something. I can help you with observation, he finally says. I can help you establish his patterns, figure out when he's vulnerable, but I'm not going to help you do anything that crosses a line into criminal activity. Understood? Understood. And if at any point I think you're about to do something that's going to blow back on you legally, I'm walking away. I'm not getting involved in that. Fair enough. He pulls out his phone, opens a notes app. Okay, tell me what you know about his routine. We spend the next hour mapping out Caleb's patterns based on what I've observed and what his social media reveals. Weekday mornings, coffee and Dumbo, 7:45 a.m., then office until evening. Weekday evenings, gym near his office, 7 p.m., 3 times per week. Weekend patterns, variable, but frequently at the West Village Wine Bar Friday or Saturday nights. Home location, condo in East Village, residential building with doorman. The doorman's a problem, Jonah says. You can't just hang around outside his building without being noticed. I know, but there are other ways to observe. Buildings have sightlines. There are public spaces across the street. Coffee shops with windows. True, but you're still going to be limited in what you can see. And if you do this repeatedly, someone's going to notice. Building staff, neighbors, someone. So I need to be strategic. Pick specific times. Vary my location. Don't establish my own pattern. Right. And you need a cover story. If anyone asks what you're doing, you need a reason for being there that doesn't involve watching some guy. I'll figure it out. Jonah closes his notes app. Last chance to reconsider this, Rowan. You sure you want to go down this path? I'm sure. Okay, then let's do this right. I'll help you establish his patterns over the next week. After that, you're on your own for whatever comes next. Thank you. Don't thank me. I'm not sure I'm doing you a favor. The next 7 days, Jonah and I take turns observing Caleb's movements. We document everything: arrival and departure times, who he meets with, where he goes. The pattern becomes even clearer. Monday and Wednesday, coffee with Elara in the morning. Wine bar with Elara in the evening. Tuesday and Thursday, gym after work, then home. No contact with Elara. Friday, dinner at various restaurants, sometimes with Elara, sometimes with other people. Saturday, wine bar in West Village, almost always with Elara. Sunday, quiet. Stays home mostly. Occasionally goes out for brunch. By the end of the week, I have a complete schedule. I know when he's alone. I know when he's vulnerable. I know when he'll be expecting to see Elara and when he won't. Saturday evening, Jonah and I meet one last time. That's it, he says, handing me a printed summary of our observations. That's everything I can help you with. From here, whatever you do is on you. Understood. And Rowan, be smart. Whatever point you're trying to make it once and walk away. Don't let this consume you. Don't let it turn you into something you're not. I won't. He looks skeptical, but doesn't push further. Good luck. And be careful. The first Tuesday in December is cold enough that my breath fogs in the air. I've been parked across from Caleb's gym for 20 minutes, engine off, watching the entrance. He arrives at 6:03, right on schedule. Designer gym bag over his shoulder, wireless earbuds in, the confident stride of someone who's never had to worry about being watched. I wait. He'll be inside for 50 to 60 minutes based on the pattern Jonah and I documented. That gives me a window. At 6:15, I get out of my car and walk 2 blocks to where Caleb's vehicle is parked. A black Audi sedan, maybe 2 years old, gleaming even in the streetlight. Expensive but not ostentatious. The kind of car that says I'm successful without screaming it. I walk past it once, noting the location, the sight lines, the foot traffic. It's a relatively quiet street. Most people are home by now, and the few who pass are focused on getting wherever they're going. No one's paying attention to a guy in a dark jacket and baseball cap walking down the sidewalk. I circle back. I pause next to the Audi, pulling out my phone like I'm checking a message. I glance around. No one watching. No cameras visible on this section of street. From my jacket pocket, I pull out a valve stem removal tool. Cost me $8 at an auto parts store, small enough to fit in my palm. I crouch down next to the rear driver's side tire, unscrew the valve cap, insert the tool, and twist. The valve stem comes out cleanly. Air starts hissing out of the tire. I move to the front driver's side tire. Same process. Valve stem out, air escaping. The whole thing takes less than 90 seconds. I pocket the valve stems, replace the caps so it's not immediately obvious what's wrong, and walk away at a normal pace. I'm 3 blocks away before the tires are fully flat. I get back in my car and wait. At 7:10, Caleb exits the gym. He's on his phone, laughing at something, not paying attention to his surroundings. He walks to his car, still on the phone, still not noticing anything wrong until he's almost at the driver's door. He stops, stares at the tires, says something into the phone, probably cursing. He walks around the car, checking both flat tires. He's confused, frustrated. He crouches down, examines the front tire more closely. He'll be wondering if it's vandalism or just incredibly bad luck. 2 flat tires at once? That's unusual but not impossible. Could be road debris, could be faulty valves, could be coincidence. He makes another call. Roadside assistance, probably. He paces while he talks, gesturing with his free hand. Even from this distance, I can see he's agitated. I start my engine and drive away. He never sees me. Wednesday, I'm back at work, sitting through a project review meeting. We're discussing a new contract, an HVAC upgrade for a municipal building. The project manager is walking through the timeline, the budget, the staffing requirements. I'm taking notes, asking questions, operating on autopilot while my mind is elsewhere. My phone buzzes during a break, a text from Jonah. Heard anything? Not yet. Be careful, always am. I pocket the phone and go back to the meeting. That evening, Elara tells me she's having dinner with a client. She'll be home late. Don't wait up. Okay, I say. She leaves at 6:30. I check the app. She's heading toward the East Village, toward Caleb's building. I wonder if he's told her about the tires. Probably. I wonder what explanation he gave. Vandalism? Bad luck? Is he paranoid yet? Or just annoyed? I spend the evening working on documentation for the HVAC project. Around 10, I check Caleb's social media. No posts today. That's unusual for him. He typically posts something every day. Motivational quotes, workout updates, photos of wherever he's having dinner. Radio silence. Good. Friday evening, I follow Caleb from his office to a restaurant in Midtown. He's meeting someone, a man in his 50s, well-dressed, carrying a leather portfolio. Business dinner by the looks of it. They're seated at a table near the window. I'm across the street at a coffee shop, visible from the restaurant but not obviously watching. Just another guy with a laptop, working late. I watch them through the window for 90 minutes. They talk animatedly. Documents come out. Caleb takes notes. It looks important. A potential client, maybe. Or a partner. Someone whose impression matters. At 8:30, they finish dinner. They shake hands at the exit. The other man heads north. Caleb stands on the sidewalk for a moment, checking his phone, then starts walking toward the parking garage where his car is. I've already been there. This morning, before work, I made another visit to the parking garage, 3rd floor, Section B, where Caleb parks. I found his Audi, both tires now fixed, valve stems replaced. I didn't touch the tires this time. Instead, I did something simpler. I took a valve stem cap, not from his car, just a standard black cap, and I wedged a small pebble inside it before screwing it back onto the valve. Not tight enough to cause an immediate leak, but enough that over time, over pressure changes, it would create a slow leak. The kind of thing that's not immediately noticeable, but becomes a problem within a few days. Then I did the same thing to his other rear tire. It's subtle, deniable. Could be explained as debris that somehow got lodged in there. Bad luck that it happened to both rear tires. But Caleb won't think it's bad luck. Not after what happened Tuesday. He'll start to wonder. The following Tuesday, I receive indirect confirmation that the pressure is working. Elara comes home around 9, earlier than usual. She seems distracted, agitated. She pours herself a glass of wine and sits on the couch, staring at her phone. Everything okay? I ask. Fine, just work stress. Anything I can help with? No, just client stuff. People being difficult. She's lying. I can tell from the way she won't make eye contact, the way her jaw is tight. Well, let me know if you need anything, I say. She nods absently and goes back to her phone. Later that night, after she's asleep, I check Caleb's social media. Still no posts. It's been 5 days since his last update. For someone who posts daily, that's significant. I open a private browser window and search his name along with reviews and complaints. Nothing new. His business seems fine publicly. But privately, something's shifted. Thursday afternoon, I'm at a contractor meeting when Jonah calls. I step outside to take it. You hear anything interesting lately? He asks. Like what? Like maybe someone in your wife's circle is having car trouble, multiple incidents, starting to get paranoid? I don't respond immediately. Jonah's fishing, trying to figure out if I've already made a move. I wouldn't know, I say carefully. Right. Well, hypothetically, if someone were experiencing repeated, unexplained vehicle problems, They might start thinking it's targeted. They might even file a police report. Has someone filed a police report? I don't know. I'm just saying, hypothetically, if you were involved in something like that, you'd want to be very careful about escalating. Police start looking for patterns. They might find connections you don't want them to find. Good to know. I'm serious, Rowan. If you've already started something, maybe it's time to step back. You've made your point. I appreciate the concern. That's not a no. I have to get back to my meeting. Thanks for calling. I hang up before he can push further. He's right, of course. I'm creating a pattern. If Caleb files a police report, if they start investigating, there could be evidence I've been near his car, near his building, security cameras, witnesses, something, but I'm not done yet. One more move. Then I'll step back. Saturday night, I follow Caleb to the wine bar in the West Village. He arrives alone at 8:30. Elara's supposed to meet him there. I know because I overheard her on the phone yesterday making plans for drinks with Morella, which is her current cover story. I'm positioned at a different bar across the street, sitting near the window with a clear view of the entrance. Caleb waits inside. I can see him through the window, sitting at their usual table, checking his phone repeatedly. He orders a drink, waits, checks his phone again. 8:45. No Elara. 9 o'clock. Still no Elara. He's texting now, probably asking where she is. He orders another drink. He looks around the bar. Uncomfortable, like he's wondering if people are noticing he's been stood up. 9:15. He pays his tab and leaves. He stands outside for a moment, phone to his ear. He's calling someone. Probably Elara. The call goes to voicemail. I can tell from his expression, the way he starts to say something then stops. He puts the phone away and starts walking, hands shoved in his pockets, shoulders hunched against the cold. I follow at a distance. He walks 3 blocks before stopping at another bar, smaller, quieter. He goes inside. I wait 5 minutes, then follow. The bar is dimly lit, half empty. Caleb's at the far end, ordering a whiskey. He looks stressed, tired, nothing like the confident guy from his social media photos. I take a seat at the opposite end of the bar, angled so I can see him in the mirror behind the bottles. I order a beer. We're in the same space for the first time. He has no idea who I am. I watch him through the mirror. He's on his 3rd drink now, scrolling through his phone with increasing frustration. He types out a message, deletes it, types another one, sends it. Waits, no response. Around 10:30, his phone rings. He answers immediately. I can't hear what he's saying, but I can read his body language. He's angry, defensive. The conversation is heated. He stands up, pacing near the bar's entrance, voice rising. Then he stops, listens. His expression changes from anger to confusion to something else. Fear, maybe. Uncertainty. He ends the call. He stands there for a moment, staring at his phone. Then he pays his tab and leaves quickly, almost running. I wait 2 minutes, finish my beer, and follow. Outside, Caleb's walking fast, looking over his shoulder repeatedly. He's paranoid now. Whatever was said on that phone call shook him. I stay far enough back that he won't notice me, just another person on a crowded Saturday night sidewalk. He turns down a side street, walking faster. He's heading toward the parking garage where his car is. I follow to the corner, then stop. I've seen enough. He's scared. He's confused. He's starting to understand that something is wrong, that the car troubles weren't random, that someone is paying attention to him in ways he can't control or predict. That's exactly where I need him to be. Sunday, I review everything I've documented, the timeline of pressure points, the escalating pattern, Caleb's visible anxiety. I've been careful. No direct threats, no face-to-face confrontation, no communication that could be traced back to me. Just a series of inconveniences that could theoretically be explained as bad luck, but are adding up to something that feels intentional. He's rattled, that's clear, but he's not broken yet. For that, I need something bigger. Something that makes him realize that staying involved with Elara comes with consequences he's not willing to accept. I open the framework document and start writing. Phase 2, direct intimidation. Objective, make Caleb understand that his relationship with Elara is not worth the personal cost. Create fear without creating legal liability. Method, controlled confrontation in a public space. No direct threats. No physical contact, just presence and implication. Timing, 1 week from now. Location, his office building. Duration, 5 minutes maximum. Message, I know who you are. I know what you're doing, and I'm watching. Constraints. No recording devices. No witnesses who could identify me later. No language that constitutes a direct threat. Expected outcome. Caleb reconsiders the relationship. Distances himself from Elara. Problem resolves itself without divorce. without public exposure, without legal complications. I read it through 3 times, looking for holes, for legal vulnerabilities, for anything that could go wrong. It's risky, but it's calculated, and it's necessary. I save the document and close the laptop. 1 week, then I make my move. Monday morning, Elara's in the kitchen when I wake up. She's already dressed for work, drinking coffee, but she's not scrolling through her phone like usual. She's just standing there, staring out the window. "You're up early," I say. She turns to look at me. Her expression is guarded, careful. "We need to talk." "Okay, about what?" "About us. About how things have been lately." I pour myself coffee, taking my time, letting the silence stretch. "What about how things have been?" She sets her cup down. "You've been distant, withdrawn, like you're not really here even when you're home." "I've been busy with work." "It's more than that, Rowan. You barely talk to me anymore. You don't ask about my day. When I try to talk to you, you just shut down." "I don't shut down. I listen." "No, you don't. You sit there and you wait for me to stop talking. That's not the same thing." I lean against the counter, holding my coffee cup with both hands. "What do you want me to say?" "I want you to engage. I want you to act like you care about what's happening in my life." "I do care." "You have a funny way of showing it." The irony is almost too much. She's standing here, accusing me of being distant, while she's been lying to me for months, while she's been spending her evenings and weekends with another man, while she's been building an entire separate life that has nothing to do with me. But I don't say any of that, because that would tip my hand. That would let her know I'm aware of what's been happening. Instead, I say, "I'm sorry if I've seemed distant. Work has been demanding lately. I'll try to be more present." She studies me for a moment, like she's trying to figure out if I'm being sincere. "I think maybe we should talk to someone, a counselor, someone who can help us communicate better. If that's what you want." "It's not just what I want, Rowan. It's what we need. We're not connecting anymore. We're just existing in the same space." "Okay, set something up. I'll make time." She looks surprised that I agreed so easily. "Really?" "Really. If you think it'll help, we should try it." She nods slowly. "Okay, I'll find someone and book an appointment." "Sounds good." She picks up her phone, checking the time. "I have to go. I've got an early meeting." "Have a good day." She hesitates at the door, then comes back and kisses me on the cheek. It's brief, perfunctory, but she's making the effort. "I love you," she says. "Love you too." She leaves. I stand in the kitchen, listening to her footsteps fade down the hallway, the elevator doors opening and closing. A counselor. That's an interesting move. It's either genuine, she actually feels guilty and wants to fix things, or it's strategic. Establishing a narrative. If things eventually fall apart, she can say she tried. She suggested counseling. I was the one who didn't really engage. Either way, it doesn't change what I know. It doesn't change what's been happening, and it definitely doesn't change what I'm planning to do. Wednesday evening, Elara tells me she's going out with Morella. Dinner and drinks, catching up, girl talk. "What time will you be home?" I ask. "Not sure. Probably around 10. "Have fun." "Thanks. Don't wait up." She leaves at 7. I check the app. She's heading toward the East Village, toward Caleb's building. I text Jonah. Question. If someone wanted to document a pattern of deception for future reference, what's the best approach? He responds within minutes. Photos with timestamps, license plates if vehicles are involved, entry and exit times from buildings. Keep it factual, no speculation. Why? Just thinking ahead. You're playing with fire, Rowan, I know. No, I don't think you do. If she finds out you've been tracking her, documenting her movements, that becomes ammunition against you. Controlling behavior, invasion of privacy, all of that. What if she's already given me reason to track her movements? Doesn't matter. Courts don't like surveillance between spouses. It poisons the well. Makes you look bad even if you're right. Noted. Seriously, Rowan, whatever you're planning, think about the end game. Think about how this looks from the outside. I don't respond. I know he's right. But I'm past the point where optics matter more than truth. I grab my jacket and keys and head out. Caleb's building is in a quiet residential neighborhood, the kind of place where people mind their own business but would definitely notice someone suspicious hanging around. I park 2 blocks away and walk. It's cold enough that having my collar up and a hat on doesn't look unusual. I'm just another person trying to stay warm. There's a coffee shop across the street from his building with large windows facing the entrance. I go inside, order a coffee, and take a seat near the window. From here, I have a clear view of the building entrance. I can see the doorman at his desk. I can see who comes and goes. At 7:40, Elara arrives. She's not trying to hide. She walks right up to the entrance, speaks briefly with the doorman, and goes inside. I pull out my phone and take a photo through the window. It's not great quality. There's some glare from the streetlights. But it's clear enough. Timestamp, 7:42 p.m. Location data embedded in the file. I sit there for 2 hours, nursing my coffee, occasionally checking my phone, looking like I'm working or waiting for someone. At 9:50, Elara exits the building. Her hair is different, looser, like it's been down and then put back up. Her coat is buttoned wrong, like she dressed quickly. I take another photo. Timestamp, 9:51 p.m. She walks to the corner and hails a taxi. I watch until she's gone, then leave the coffee shop and walk back to my car. I sit there for a moment before starting the engine, looking at the photos on my phone. Evidence. Clear, documented, time-stamped evidence. I don't want to use it. I don't want this to become a legal battle where we're submitting photos and location data and building a case against each other. But if Elara keeps pushing, if she keeps trying to control the narrative, keeps trying to make me the problem, I'll have no choice. Thursday, I'm at work when I get a call from an unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. 20 minutes later, I listen to the message. Hi, this is Dr. Patricia Chen calling from Riverside Counseling. Your wife Elara scheduled a session for you both next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Please call to confirm your attendance. Thanks. I delete the message. So she actually did it. She actually booked a counseling appointment. I text her. Got a message from a counselor's office. Next Tuesday at 6? She responds immediately. Yes. I hope that's okay. I know it's short notice. It's fine. I'll be there. Thank you. This means a lot to me. I stare at that message for a long time. Does it mean a lot to her? Is she actually trying to save the marriage? Or is this just part of the performance, the concerned wife who tried everything before the inevitable separation? I don't know. And at this point, I'm not sure it matters. Saturday, Caleb posts on social media for the first time in over a week. It's a photo of a coffee cup with some generic caption about fresh starts and new perspectives. The comments are supportive. Friends and colleagues liking, leaving encouraging messages. You got this. New week, new mindset. No one knows what's really happening. No one knows he's been dealing with car problems, with paranoia, with the growing sense that someone is watching him. That's the thing about social media. Everyone performs their best life. No one shows the fear, the confusion, the moments when they're not sure what's happening or why. Sunday morning, Elara suggests we go for brunch again. Another attempt at normalcy, at doing things couples do. Sure, I say. We go to the same place in Park Slope. The wait is shorter this time, only 20 minutes. We get seated near the window, and Elara orders her usual avocado toast and mimosa. I've been thinking, she says once we've ordered. Maybe we should plan a trip, get away for a long weekend. It's been a while since we did anything like that. Where were you thinking? I don't know. Somewhere quiet. Maybe upstate? There are these nice bed and breakfasts in the Hudson Valley. We could drive up, disconnect for a few days. That sounds nice. Yeah? You'd want to do that? Sure. When? Maybe after the holidays? January or February, when work slows down a bit. Let's look at dates. She smiles, reaching across the table to take my hand. I know things have been hard lately, but I want us to work, Rowan. I really do. I squeeze her hand. Me too. We eat our brunch. We talk about safe topics, work projects, holiday plans, whether we should get a new couch for the living room. We perform the role of a couple that's working through their problems. And maybe part of her believes it. Maybe she's convinced herself that she can have both, the stability of a marriage and the excitement of whatever she has with Caleb. Maybe she thinks she can keep both worlds separate indefinitely, but she can't. Because I've already decided that one of those worlds is going to collapse, and it's not going to be mine. Monday evening, I finalize my plan for confronting Caleb. I've chosen the location, the lobby of his office building. It's public enough that there will be witnesses if anything goes wrong, but private enough that I can speak to him without drawing a crowd. I've chosen the time, Tuesday morning, 7:45. He'll be arriving for work, probably still foggy from his morning coffee, not at his sharpest. I've chosen my approach, calm, controlled, no raised voice, no physical aggression, just information delivery. Just making sure he knows exactly what I know. I've even chosen my clothes, business casual, the kind of outfit that makes me look like I belong in an office building, like I could be there for any number of legitimate reasons. I rehearse what I'm going to say. Keep it short, keep it clear, no threats, nothing that could be recorded and used against me, just facts and implications. I know who you are, I know what you've been doing, I know where you live, where you work, where you go, I know everything, and I want you to understand something. This ends now. You stay away from my wife. You stop taking her calls. You make yourself unavailable. You find a reason, any reason, to end whatever this is, because if you don't, the inconveniences you've been experiencing, they're just the beginning. No, that's too direct. That's an explicit threat. I try again. Caleb Virex, we haven't met, but I know quite a bit about you. Your business, your routine, your habits. I know about the coffee shop in Dumbo. I know about the wine bar in the West Village. I know about the time you spend with my wife. And I want you to think very carefully about whether that's really worth continuing, because the universe has a way of making things difficult for people who make poor choices. You've probably noticed that already. Car troubles, strange coincidences. It's amazing how these things compound. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to distance yourself from Elara. Professionally, personally, completely. You're going to be unavailable. You're going to be busy. You're going to find any reason except the real one to stop seeing her. And if you do that, your life goes back to normal. If you don't, well, I'm sure you can imagine. Still too explicit. Still too much of a direct connection between me and the problems he's been having. One more time. Caleb, I'm Rowan, Elara's husband. I think it's time we had a conversation about boundaries. I know you two have been spending time together. I know it's been more than professional. And I'm giving you the courtesy of a direct conversation before this becomes more complicated. You seem like a smart guy. You've built a business. You have a reputation to maintain. I'm sure you can understand that certain situations have consequences. The smart move here is to step back. Make yourself scarce. Let Elara focus on her actual commitments. Do that, and we're fine. Keep doing what you've been doing, and we're not fine. I think you're smart enough to make the right choice. Better, clearer. It acknowledges what's happening without being crude. It implies consequences without specifying them. It gives him an out. Make the smart choice, walk away, no one gets hurt. And most importantly, it's the kind of conversation that, if he repeats it to someone else, doesn't make me sound unhinged or dangerous. It makes me sound reasonable, controlled. A husband having a difficult conversation with the man who's been involved with his wife. I save the final version in my notes and close my laptop. Tomorrow morning, 7:45, Caleb's office building. Time to see how he responds to pressure that's not anonymous. Tuesday morning arrives cold and clear. I'm up at 5:30, shower, dress in gray slacks and a navy sweater, dark coat. Professional but not memorable. I look like any other person heading to an office job. Elara's still asleep when I leave. I write a note saying I have an early meeting, leave it on the kitchen counter. I drive to Dumbo and park 3 blocks from Caleb's office building. I grab coffee from a nearby shop. Something to hold. Something that makes me look purposeful rather than lurking. At 7:30, I position myself near the entrance to his building. Not directly in front. That would be too obvious. But close enough that I can see everyone who enters. The lobby has glass walls visible from the street. Security desk on the right, elevators on the left. A few people are already arriving. Early workers, building maintenance. At 7:42, Caleb appears, walking from the direction of the subway station. He's on his phone, distracted, not paying attention to his surroundings. He's wearing a tailored coat, leather messenger bag over his shoulder. I intercept him 10 feet from the entrance. Caleb Virex? He looks up, startled. His eyes scan my face, trying to place me. Yes? I'm Rowan, Elara's husband. We need to talk. Just a few minutes. His expression shifts through several emotions in rapid succession. Confusion, recognition, fear, calculation. He glances toward the building entrance, measuring the distance, wondering if he should just walk away. I don't think that's a good idea, he says. It's not a request. But we can do this right here in the lobby where there are witnesses and cameras, or we can walk around the block and have a private conversation. Your choice. He hesitates, then nods. Around the block. 5 minutes. We walk side by side, not speaking. I let the silence build, let him wonder what's coming. We turn the corner onto a quieter street. Fewer pedestrians, more space between us and other people. What do you want? He asks finally. I want you to understand something very clearly. I know about you and Elara. I know everything. The coffee meetings, the wine bar, the weekends at your apartment when she tells me she's traveling for work. All of it. He stops walking. Look, I don't know what you think is... Don't. I hold up a hand. Don't insult both of us by pretending. I have documentation, photos, location data, time-stamped evidence, so let's skip the denial and get to the part where we're honest. He's quiet for a moment, recalculating. Okay, fine. What do you want? I want you to end it. Cleanly. Completely. You make yourself unavailable. You're busy with work. You're seeing someone else. You've had a change of priorities. I don't care what reason you give her, but you end it. And if I don't, then things get complicated. You've probably noticed some complications already. Car troubles, strange coincidences. That's just the beginning. I'm very good at making things difficult for people who ignore reasonable requests. His jaw tightens. Are you threatening me? I'm giving you information. What you do with it is your choice. But let me be very clear. I'm not interested in being reasonable forever. I've been patient, I've watched and documented. I've given you every chance to do the right thing on your own. This is your final opportunity to make the smart choice. Or what? You'll keep messing with my car? You'll what exactly? Because if you're admitting to vandalism, I can go to the police right now. Go ahead. Explain to them that you want to file a report because the husband of the woman you've been having an affair with is standing on a public sidewalk having a conversation with you. Tell them about your car troubles that could easily be mechanical failures. See how seriously they take it. Meanwhile, I'll be happy to share my documentation of your relationship with Elara with anyone who's interested. Your clients, for instance. Your business partners. I wonder how many of them would appreciate knowing that you make a habit of pursuing married women. He's breathing harder now, trying to control his anger and fear. You can't. I can. And I will. But I'd rather not. I'd rather you make this easy. End it. Walk away. Let Elara work through whatever she needs to work through without your involvement. Do that, and this conversation never happened. Your life goes back to normal. You rebuild your professional reputation. Everything's fine. And if she doesn't want it to end? That's not your concern. Your concern is what happens if you continue, and I promise you, what happens next will make car troubles seem insignificant. We stare at each other for a long moment. He's trying to read me, trying to figure out if I'm bluffing, if I'm actually capable of following through. I keep my expression neutral, calm. I'm not angry. I'm not out of control. I'm just someone explaining a simple equation. Actions have consequences, and he needs to decide which consequences he's willing to accept. Fine, he says finally. I'll end it. But you need to leave me alone. No more car problems, no more showing up at my office, no more anything. As long as you hold up your end, you'll never see me again. How do I know you won't just... Because I don't care about you, Caleb. You're not important enough to hate. You're just a problem that needs to be solved. Once you're no longer a problem, you're irrelevant. Do what I'm asking, and I have no reason to think about you ever again. He nods slowly. Okay, we're done here. Yes, we are. He turns and walks back toward his building, not looking back. I watch him go, noting the tension in his shoulders, the way he's moving faster than normal. I stay where I am for another 5 minutes, letting my heart rate return to normal, reviewing the conversation in my head. No explicit threats, no admission of wrongdoing, just a husband confronting the man involved with his wife and suggesting a resolution. If anyone reviews security footage later, they'll see 2 men having a conversation on a public street. Nothing threatening, nothing actionable. I walk back to my car and drive to work. The rest of Tuesday passes slowly. I sit through meetings, respond to emails, review contractor reports, normal work routines. But my mind is elsewhere, wondering if Caleb will actually follow through. Around 4 p.m., my phone buzzes. A text from Elara. Something strange happened today. Caleb canceled our meeting this afternoon. Said he's swamped with work and needs to reschedule. That is strange. Yeah, he's never canceled on me before. And when I tried to call him, he didn't pick up. Maybe he really is busy. Maybe. I don't know. It just feels off. I'm sure it's fine. Don't stress about it. You're probably right. See you tonight. I set the phone down and allow myself a small moment of satisfaction. He's doing it. He's creating distance. Whether it's because he's scared or because he actually thinks it's the smart move doesn't matter. The outcome is the same. Wednesday evening, Elara comes home agitated. She drops her bag on the floor, pours herself a large glass of wine, and sits heavily on the couch. Bad day? I ask. Frustrating day. Caleb's being weird. He keeps dodging my calls. His assistant says he's in meetings, but I know his schedule. He's avoiding me. Maybe something came up. A new client or a project. For 3 days straight? No, something's wrong. He won't tell me what, but something's definitely wrong. I sit next to her on the couch. Did you two have an argument? No. Everything was fine on Saturday. We had a great time, and then suddenly on Tuesday he's completely unavailable. It doesn't make sense. Maybe he's dealing with something personal, family issues or health problems. He would have told me. Not necessarily. Some people keep that stuff private. She turns to look at me. You think I'm overreacting. I think you're stressed and maybe reading too much into a few days of someone being busy. It's not just a few days, it's a complete shutdown. He won't respond to texts, he won't take my calls. When I emailed him about the campaign we're working on, I got a response from his assistant saying he's delegating that project to someone else. Then maybe he really is overwhelmed. Maybe he's realizing he took on too much and he's trying to scale back. She drains half her wine in one long swallow. I don't believe that. Something happened. Something changed. And I don't know what. I put my arm around her shoulders. Hey, whatever it is, I'm sure it'll work itself out. Don't let it consume you. She leans against me and I feel her body relax slightly. You're right. I'm probably overthinking it. I rely on him for a lot of professional guidance. It's stressful when that support suddenly disappears. Professional guidance, I repeat. Right. What's that supposed to mean? Nothing. Just agreeing with you. She pulls away slightly, studying my face. You sound skeptical. I'm not skeptical. I just think maybe it's good for you to not rely on one person so much. Diversify your support system. That's actually not bad advice. I have my moments. She smiles just a little and finishes her wine. I'm going to take a bath. Clear my head? Good idea. She kisses my forehead and disappears into the bedroom. I sit on the couch, listening to the bathwater running, processing what just happened. She's rattled, she's confused, she's looking to me for comfort while trying to figure out why Caleb suddenly cut her off. And I gave her comfort. Because that's what a good husband does. That's what someone who's not actively destroying her support system would do. The irony isn't lost on me. Thursday, I get a call from Jonah during my lunch break. You did something, didn't you? He says without preamble. What makes you say that? Because I ran into an old colleague who works in your wife's building. She mentioned that Elara's been upset this week, talking about how a consultant she works with has suddenly gone radio silent. Cut her off completely. And that seems like a hell of a coincidence given our recent conversations. Maybe it's not a coincidence. Maybe he just realized he was overextended. Or maybe he got a visit from someone who convinced him that continuing was a bad idea. I don't respond. Rowan, tell me you didn't do something stupid. I had a conversation, that's all. A calm, rational conversation between adults? Where? Public place, witnesses around. Nothing threatening, nothing illegal. But you made it clear there would be consequences if he didn't back off. I made it clear that I'm aware of what's been happening and that I would prefer it to stop. How he interprets that is up to him. Jonah is quiet for a moment. You're playing a dangerous game. You know that, right? I know exactly what I'm doing. Do you? Because from where I'm sitting, you're escalating a situation that could blow up in your face. What happens when Elara figures out that you're behind Caleb's sudden distance? What happens when she realizes you've been manipulating this whole thing? Then we have an honest conversation about honesty, about deception, about what happens when someone decides their marriage vows are optional. That's not going to go the way you think it will. Maybe not, but at least it'll be the truth. The truth doesn't always set you free, Rowan. Sometimes it just makes things worse. I'll take that risk. He sighs. Fine, but when this all comes crashing down, and it will, don't say I didn't warn you. Noted. Thanks for the concern. I'm serious. Be careful. You've poked the bear. Now you need to be ready for it to fight back. Friday evening, Elara barely speaks to me. She's on her phone constantly, texting someone, scrolling through social media, checking email. Her wine glass is refilled 3 times. Around 9, she throws her phone on the couch cushion. He blocked me, she says. Who? Caleb. He blocked my number. I can't call him. I can't text him. When I tried to message him on LinkedIn, he didn't respond. He's completely cut me off. That's extreme. Did something happen between you two? No. That's what I don't understand. Everything was fine. And then suddenly he's gone, like I don't exist. Maybe he's going through something serious, a personal crisis. Then why wouldn't he just tell me that? Why block me? That's not what you do to someone you care about. Maybe he doesn't handle stress well. Maybe he needs space and doesn't know how to ask for it properly. She looks at me with something close to desperation. Do you think I did something wrong? I'm sure you didn't. Then why is this happening? I don't know, Elara. Sometimes people just withdraw, especially men. We're not always great at communicating when we're overwhelmed. She starts crying. Quiet tears at first, then harder. I move closer, put my arm around her. Hey, it's going to be okay. I don't understand, she says into my shoulder. I don't understand what I did to deserve this. I hold her while she cries, thinking about all the times I've sat alone in this apartment, wondering where she was, who she was with, what lies she was going to tell me when she got home. I should feel triumph. I should feel vindicated. This is what I wanted. Her support system collapsing, her realizing that actions have consequences, but mostly I just feel tired. It's not about what you deserve, I say quietly. Sometimes people make choices that hurt us, and we don't get to know why. She pulls back, wiping her eyes. You're being really understanding about this, about me being upset over a work colleague. You're allowed to be upset when someone you trusted cuts you off without explanation. Thank you for not making this harder than it already is. Of course. She goes to bed early. I stay up, sitting in the dark living room, thinking about what comes next. Caleb's done what I asked. He's cut off contact. But that doesn't solve the real problem. The real problem is sitting in our bedroom, crying over a man she's been lying to me about for months. The real problem is that I'm married to someone who valued what she had with him more than what she has with me. And eliminating him doesn't change that fundamental truth. It just removes one variable from an equation that's still broken. The counseling appointment is Tuesday at 6. I arrive 5 minutes early. Elara's already there, sitting in the waiting room, flipping through a magazine without actually reading it. Hey, she says when she sees me. Hey. We sit in awkward silence until the counselor opens her door. She's younger than I expected, mid-30s maybe, professional but approachable. She introduces herself as Dr. Kimberly Walsh and invites us into her office. The room is designed to feel safe, soft lighting, comfortable chairs, a box of tissues prominently placed on the side table, all the standard elements of a space where people are expected to fall apart. Thank you both for coming, Dr. Walsh says once we're seated. Elara, you reached out initially. Do you want to start by telling me what brought you here? Elara glances at me, then back at the counselor. We've been distant lately, not communicating well. I feel like we're roommates more than partners. I wanted us to work on that before it gets worse. Rowan, does that resonate with you? Yes, we've definitely been disconnected. Can you give me an example of what that looks like in your daily life? Elara jumps in. We don't talk about real things anymore. It's all surface level. Logistics, who's picking up groceries, who's paying which bill. We don't share what's actually happening in our lives. And Rowan, do you agree with that assessment? I do, though I'd say it's been building for a while, not just recently. How long would you say? I pretend to think about it. 6 months? Maybe longer. Elara looks surprised. You think it's been that long? I think we stopped really seeing each other a while ago. We just didn't acknowledge it. Dr. Walsh nods, making a note. What would you say changed 6 months ago? Nothing specific, Elara says quickly. Just life getting busier, work demands. We both got caught up in our own things. Rowan, same for you? I think Elara's career took off in a significant way. More responsibilities, more client demands, more travel. That created natural distance. Travel, Dr. Walsh repeats. How often are you traveling, Elara? Maybe once or twice a month. Just short trips. And how does that affect the relationship? It's hard. I feel guilty being away. But it's part of the job. Dr. Walsh turns to me. How do you handle it when Elara's traveling? I manage. I have my own work to focus on. Do you miss her when she's gone? Of course. Do you tell her that? I pause. Not usually. Why not? I don't want to add to her stress. She's already dealing with work pressure. She doesn't need me making her feel guilty about doing her job. Elara's looking at me with an expression I can't quite read. Surprise, maybe. Or guilt. Elara, did you know Rowan felt that way? Dr. Walsh asks. No, he never said anything. I just assumed he was fine with it. That's an interesting pattern, Dr. Walsh says. Rowan suppressing his needs to protect Elara from feeling guilty. Elara interpreting that as indifference. Can you see how that might create distance? We both nod. Let's try something, Dr. Walsh continues. Rowan, I want you to tell Elara directly, right now, one thing you wish was different in your relationship. I look at Elara. She's sitting forward, attentive, like she genuinely wants to hear this. I wish you valued my presence more than my absence, I say. I wish when you were planning your life, your schedule, your priorities, that you thought about us as a unit instead of yourself as an individual who happens to be married. Elara's eyes fill with tears. I do think about us. Do you? Because from where I sit, it feels like I'm an afterthought, something you fit in when it's convenient, not someone you actively choose. That's not fair. Maybe not, but it's how it feels. Dr. Walsh lets the silence sit for a moment. Elara, what's coming up for you right now? I feel defensive and guilty, because part of what he's saying is true. I do get caught up in work. I do prioritize that sometimes over our relationship. But I'm trying. That's why we're here. I appreciate that, Dr. Walsh says. And Rowan, I'm hearing that you've been carrying resentment about feeling undervalued. Is that accurate? Yes. Have you expressed that to Elara before today? Not directly. I've made comments, but nothing this clear. Why not? Because I didn't think it would change anything. Elara reaches for my hand. It would have. If you'd told me how you felt, I would have tried to fix it. I don't pull away, but I don't squeeze back either. Would you? Or would you have apologized and then continued doing exactly what you've been doing? She lets go of my hand. You really think I'm that selfish? I think you're focused on what you want. And when what you want conflicts with what we need, you choose yourself. Every time. That's not true, isn't it? When was the last time you changed your plans because I asked you to? When was the last time you chose to stay home with me instead of going out with your friends or colleagues? She doesn't answer. Let's pause there, Dr. Walsh says. We're getting into some deep territory, which is good. But I want to make sure we're building tools for communication, not just listing grievances. Can we agree that both of you are feeling unappreciated in different ways? We both nod. Good. That's something we can work with. For homework this week, I want each of you to do something that demonstrates appreciation for the other. Something specific and intentional. Can you commit to that? Yes, Elara says. Rowan? Yes. Great. Let's meet again next week, same time. In the car on the way home, Elara is quiet. Finally, she speaks. You've been holding all that in for a long time. Yes. I wish you'd told me sooner. I wish I'd felt like I could. What does that mean? It means you're not easy to talk to about difficult things. You get defensive. You turn it around. You make me feel like I'm the problem for bringing it up. I don't mean to do that. Maybe not. But you do it anyway. She's quiet for the rest of the drive. At home, she goes straight to the bedroom. I hear her on the phone with someone, Mirella, probably, talking about the session, processing her feelings. I sit in the living room with my laptop and open the document where I've been tracking everything. I add a new entry. December 17th, first counseling session. E, emotional, defensive, acknowledged prioritizing work over relationship. I expressed feeling undervalued. Pattern. E interprets my silence as acceptance rather than resignation. I close the laptop and stare at the dark screen. The thing is, everything I said in that session was true. I do feel undervalued. I do feel like an afterthought. That's not manipulation, it's just reality. But I left out the part where I know exactly why she's been distant. I left out the documentation, the surveillance, the confrontation with Caleb. I told the truth, just not all of it. And somehow, that feels worse than lying. Friday evening, Elara makes dinner. It's unusual. We haven't cooked together in months. She makes pasta with vegetables, opens a bottle of wine, sets the table like we're having a date night at home. What's the occasion? I ask. Homework from Dr. Walsh, demonstrating appreciation. I figured making your favorite meal was a start. It's a good start. We eat in relative silence. She asks about my day. I ask about hers. We perform the rituals of a couple that cares about each other. Halfway through dinner, her phone buzzes. She glances at it, then sets it face down on the table. You can check that if you need to, I say. It's not important. You sure? Could be work? It's not work. It's just someone I used to collaborate with. He's been reaching out and I haven't been responding. Caleb? She looks up sharply. How do you know that name? You mentioned him before. The growth consultant. Right, yes. Caleb. He's been texting from a different number. I guess he realized I wasn't getting his messages and found another way to contact me. What's he saying? He wants to explain why he cut me off. He says it's complicated and he needs to talk to me in person. Are you going to meet him? I don't know. Part of me wants answers. but part of me thinks it's better to just let it go. What do you think you'll do? She's quiet for a moment, pushing pasta around on her plate. Honestly, I think I need closure. I think I need to hear whatever he has to say so I can move on. Then you should meet him. She looks surprised. You think so? If you need closure, get closure. Just be honest with me about it. Don't tell me you're meeting a client when you're actually meeting him. Her face flushes. I wouldn't do that. I hold her gaze. Wouldn't you? No, I wouldn't. Not anymore. Okay, then meet him. Get your answers. Put it behind you. She nods slowly. Thank you for understanding. Of course. We finish dinner. She does the dishes while I dry. We move around the kitchen with practiced efficiency, two people who've shared a space long enough to know each other's patterns. Later, after she's gone to bed, I sit on the couch with my phone and open the location app. She's home, right here in our apartment. But tomorrow, or the next day, or whenever she decides to meet Caleb, she won't be. And I'll know exactly where she is. Because even though Caleb blocked her original number, even though he's been maintaining distance, I knew he'd reach back out eventually. People like him can't help themselves. They need to explain, to justify, to make themselves feel better about their choices. He wants to tell her that he ended it because he realized it was wrong, or because he's met someone else, or because he's focusing on his career. Whatever story he's constructed that makes him look better than the truth. And when they meet, when they have that conversation, I'll be watching. Not to interfere, not to confront, just to document the final piece of evidence I need. Because if this goes to court, if Elara tries to claim I'm the one who destroyed our marriage, I want proof. Clear, undeniable proof that she was still pursuing contact with Caleb even after he cut her off, that she lied to me about moving on, that she never really committed to fixing what was broken between us. I set the phone down and close my eyes. This is the part I didn't plan for, the part where getting what I want doesn't feel like winning. It just feels like confirming something I wish wasn't true. Sunday afternoon, Elara tells me she's meeting Caleb for coffee on Monday. She's nervous about it, which she admits freely. I just need to understand what happened, she says. Why he suddenly shut me out. It's been eating at me. I get it. You're really okay with this? I'm okay with you getting closure. Just, whatever he says, remember that you're committed to working on us. Don't let him pull you back into whatever that relationship was. I won't, I promise. She kisses me on the cheek and goes to take a shower. I text Jonah. Tomorrow afternoon. Final observation. Need you on standby in case something goes wrong. Define wrong. In case I need a witness that I wasn't where someone might claim I was. You're setting up an alibi. Insurance. That's all. Rowan, this is getting out of hand. One more day, then it's over. Fine. Where do you need me? Your office. Just be available by phone. If I call, answer immediately and be ready to confirm you've been with me all afternoon. This is a terrible idea. Noted. Thank you. Monday morning, I tell my supervisor I need to leave early for a personal appointment. No questions asked. I've built up enough credibility that I can take an afternoon without detailed explanation. At 1 p.m., I leave the office and drive to Dumbo. Elara told me they're meeting at 2 at the coffee shop where they used to have their morning meetings. Full circle. I park 2 blocks away and walk to a different coffee shop across the street from theirs. I find a seat near the window with a clear view of the entrance. At 1:55, Caleb arrives. He looks nervous, checking his phone constantly, scanning the street. He goes inside. At 2:03, Elara arrives. She pauses outside the entrance, takes a deep breath, then goes in. I watch through the window. They sit at a table near the back, not the cozy corner table they used to use. Something more public, more visible. Caleb's choice, probably. Safer that way. I can't hear what they're saying, but I can read body language. Caleb's talking a lot, gesturing, explaining. Elara's listening, arms crossed initially, then gradually relaxing. She asks questions. He answers. At one point, she reaches across the table like she's going to touch his hand, but he pulls back. Good. He's maintaining distance, keeping his word. They talk for 45 minutes. Toward the end, Elara's crying. Caleb hands her a napkin. They stand up. He gives her a brief, awkward hug. She holds on a little too long. He gently extracts himself. They walk out separately. She heads toward the subway. He walks in the opposite direction. I stay where I am for another 10 minutes, making sure neither of them comes back. Then I take out my phone and snap photos of the coffee shop, the street, the timestamp showing I was here. Documentation, just in case. I drive back to the office and work until 6. establishing that I was there all afternoon for anyone who checks. Elara comes home around 7. Her eyes are red, but she's composed. "How did it go?" I ask. "It was hard, but I got my answers." "Do you want to talk about it?" He said he ended it because he realized it was wrong, that he was helping me avoid dealing with problems in my marriage instead of actually helping me. He said he needed to step back for both our sakes. That's very mature of him. He also said someone warned him off. Someone told him to stay away from me or there would be consequences. I keep my expression neutral. Who? He wouldn't say. Just that someone who knew about us made it clear that continuing was a bad idea, and he got scared. Scared of what? He wouldn't elaborate, just that things started happening. Car problems, feeling like he was being watched. He said it could have been coincidence, but it felt targeted. That's strange. Rowan, she's looking at me very carefully now. Do you know anything about that? About what? About someone warning him off. About his car problems. How would I know anything about that? I don't know, but the timing is strange. He cuts me off right after I tell you we need counseling. Right after I start trying to fix our marriage. You think I had something to do with it? Did you? I meet her eyes. I had a conversation with him. One conversation. I told him I knew what was going on and that I'd prefer he stayed away from my wife. That's it. When? A couple weeks ago. And you didn't think to tell me? Would you have wanted me to? Would you have appreciated me interfering in your professional relationships? He wasn't just a professional relationship, Rowan. You know that? Yes, I know that. Which is why I had the conversation. Because I'm not going to sit back and watch my wife build a life with someone else while pretending our marriage is fine. She sits down heavily on the couch. What else did you do? Nothing illegal, nothing that violated his rights or put him in danger. I just made it clear that I was aware and that I wasn't going to ignore it. And the car problems? I don't know anything about car problems. It's not quite a lie. I didn't cause lasting damage. I created inconvenience. There's a difference. He was terrified, Rowan. When he was talking about it, I could see real fear in his eyes. What did you say to him? I told him the truth, that I knew everything, that I had documentation, and that if he continued, things would get more complicated. That's all. That's all? You threatened him? I gave him information and let him make his own choices. He chose to end it. That was his decision. Because you scared him into it. Because he realized that having an affair with a married woman comes with consequences. Welcome to reality. She's crying now. I can't believe you did this. I can't believe you went behind my back and manipulated the situation. I went behind your back? That's rich, Elara. You've been lying to me for months. You've been spending weekends with him while telling me you're traveling for work. You've been building an entire separate life. And I'm the one who went behind your back? We never... Don't insult me by minimizing it now. I know everything. I have photos, location data, timestamps. I know about the wine bar. I know about his apartment in the East Village. I know about the mornings at the coffee shop. All of it. She's staring at me like she's seeing me for the first time. You've been tracking me. I've been documenting your lies. That's insane. That's controlling behavior. What's insane is that you're still trying to make me the villain here. You cheated. You lied. You made me feel crazy for noticing that something was wrong. And when I finally confirmed what I already knew, when I took steps to protect my marriage, you're angry at me for not being passive about it? You should have confronted me directly. And what would you have said? Would you have told me the truth? Or would you have done what you always do, deflect, minimize, make me feel like I'm overreacting? She doesn't answer. That's what I thought. I stand up and walk toward the bedroom. Where are you going? She asks. To pack some things. I'm going to stay somewhere else for a few days. Give us both space to figure out what we actually want. Rowan, wait. I'm done waiting, Elara. I'm done being the understanding husband who accepts whatever scraps of attention you're willing to give me. I'm done watching you choose everyone and everything else over me. I'm just done. I pack a bag, clothes for a week, toiletries, my laptop. She follows me around the apartment, trying to explain, trying to apologize, trying to make me stay. I don't engage, I just pack. At the door, she grabs my arm. Please don't go. We can work through this. Isn't that what counseling is for? Counseling is for people who are honest with each other. You weren't honest. You're still not honest. You're just sorry you got caught. That's not true. Goodbye, Elara. I walk out. She doesn't follow. I drive to a hotel downtown, nothing fancy, just clean and quiet. I check in, go to the room, and sit on the bed. My phone buzzes. Multiple texts from Elara. Please come home. We need to talk about this. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I never meant to hurt you. Please don't give up on us. I turn off the phone and lie back on the bed, staring at the ceiling. This is what I wanted, isn't it? For her to realize what she's lost. For her to feel what I've been feeling. So why doesn't it feel like victory? I stay at the hotel for 3 days. I go to work. I respond to Elara's texts with brief, non-committal replies. I don't agree to meet, don't agree to come home, don't agree to anything. On Thursday, she stops texting. Radio silence for almost 24 hours. Then, Friday morning, I get a text from an unknown number. We need to talk. In person. Today. Caleb. I stare at the message for a long moment, then reply. About what? About what you did? About the consequences. Meet me at Prospect Park, Grand Army Plaza entrance. 5 p.m. Come alone? Interesting. He's trying to take back control, trying to confront me on his terms. I consider ignoring it. I've already accomplished what I set out to do. Caleb's out of Elara's life. The marriage is effectively over. There's nothing left to resolve, but part of me wants to see this through. Part of me wants to face him one more time and make sure he understands exactly what happened and why. I reply. I'll be there. I arrive at 5. The park is busy. Joggers, dog walkers, families with children. Public enough to be safe, open enough that no one can claim anything happened without witnesses. Caleb's waiting near the entrance, hands in his coat pockets, looking uncomfortable. When he sees me, his jaw tightens. You came, he says. You asked me to. Let's walk. We start walking into the park, maintaining distance between us. Neither of us speaks for the first few minutes. Finally, he breaks the silence. You destroyed my relationship with Elara. No, you destroyed your relationship with Elara the moment you decided to pursue a married woman. I just accelerated the inevitable conclusion. You had no right to interfere. I had every right. She's my wife. She was unhappy with you. She needed someone who actually saw her, who valued her. You took that away from her. I took away the fantasy she was living, the one where she gets to have a stable marriage and an exciting affair without consequences. Reality doesn't work that way. He stops walking and turns to face me. Do you have any idea what you've done? She's devastated. She's barely functioning. All because you couldn't handle the fact that she found something better. Something better? You mean someone who helped her lie to herself about what she was doing? Someone who made it easy for her to avoid dealing with the problems in her marriage? That's not better. That's just enabling. You're delusional. You think you're some kind of hero, but you're just a controlling guy who couldn't accept that his wife outgrew him. Maybe. Or maybe I'm someone who refused to sit back and watch while someone else dismantled my marriage. Either way, it's over now. She knows I know. You're out of the picture. The only question is what happens next. What happens next is you leave me alone, completely. No more showing up places, no more car incidents, no more watching me. You got what you wanted. I will, as long as you stay away from Elara, permanently. She's the one reaching out to me now. She's the one who wants to stay in contact. Then tell her no. Tell her you've moved on. Tell her whatever you need to tell her, but end it. For good. Or what? Or everything I have documented. Every photo, every timestamp, every piece of evidence showing that you pursued a married woman while accepting payment for professional services from her company, all of that becomes public. I send it to your clients, I send it to your business partners, I post it online with your name attached. You want to talk about consequences? That's what happens if you don't stay away. His face goes pale. You wouldn't. Try me. I've already accepted that my marriage is over. I've already lost what I cared about. What exactly do you think I have to lose at this point? He's breathing hard, trying to control his anger. You're unstable. You need help. Maybe, but I'm also very thorough and very patient and very committed to making sure you understand that there are lines you don't cross. You crossed one. Don't cross it again. Fine. I'll stay away. But you need to get help, Rowan. This isn't normal behavior. Normal is relative. What's not normal is carrying on with someone's wife for months and then acting surprised when the husband takes issue with it. Goodbye, Caleb. I hope I never see you again. I turn and walk away. He doesn't follow. I'm halfway across the park when my phone rings. It's Elara. I almost don't answer. But something makes me pick up. Hello? Rowan, where are you? Why? Because I'm at the hotel and they said you checked out. And because Caleb just called me saying you threatened him again. and because I need to know what the hell is going on. What's going on is exactly what I told you. I'm done being passive. I'm done accepting behavior that destroys our marriage. And I'm done pretending that any of this is salvageable. So that's it? You're just giving up? I'm not giving up. I'm accepting reality. You chose him over me, multiple times, for months. The fact that I made that choice difficult for you doesn't change the fact that you made it. I never chose him over you. It was complicated. No, Elara, it wasn't complicated. You wanted both. You wanted the security of marriage and the excitement of an affair. And when I made it impossible to have both, you're angry at me for forcing you to choose. But the choice was always there. You just didn't want to make it. She's quiet for a long moment. When she speaks again, her voice is different, harder. I want a divorce. Okay. Okay? That's all you have to say? What do you want me to say? I'm not going to beg you to stay. I'm not going to fight for someone who's been checked out of this marriage for months. If you want a divorce, we'll get a divorce. Fine. I'll have my lawyer contact you. Fine. She hangs up. I stand there in the middle of the park, phone in my hand, feeling absolutely nothing. This is what I wanted. This is what I engineered. The marriage ending, Elara facing consequences, Caleb permanently out of the picture. I got everything I set out to achieve. So why does it feel like I lost? I don't go back to the hotel. I drive to Jonah's apartment and knock on his door. He opens it, takes one look at my face, and steps aside to let me in. It's over, I say. The marriage? Everything. She's filing for divorce. Caleb's scared enough to stay away permanently. I documented everything. I controlled every variable. I executed the plan perfectly. Then why do you look like someone who just lost everything? I sit down on his couch. Because I did. I thought if I could just expose what was happening, if I could just make her see the consequences, that somehow it would fix things. But it didn't fix anything. It just proved that she was never really committed to begin with. Jonah sits across from me. You wanted her to choose you, but you made it impossible for her to choose anything. You backed her into a corner where the only option was to walk away. She could have been honest, at any point. She could have told me she was unhappy. She could have ended things with Caleb herself. She could have actually tried to fix our marriage instead of just going through the motions while maintaining the affair. Maybe. But you could have confronted her directly instead of going after him. You could have given her the chance to make things right before you burned everything down. I was protecting myself. No, you were punishing her. There's a difference. I don't respond because he's right. So what now? He asks. Now I find an apartment, file the paperwork, move on with my life, pretend that the last 5 years meant something, even though they apparently didn't. They meant something, Rowan. Just because it ended doesn't mean it was meaningless. Doesn't it? What's the point of building something if the other person is just going to tear it down the moment something shinier comes along? The point is that you tried. You committed. You were loyal. Those things matter, even if they weren't reciprocated. Easy for you to say. No, it's not. I've been where you are. Different circumstances, same feeling, like you invested everything into something that turned out to be worthless. But it wasn't worthless. It taught you what you need, what you won't accept, who you actually are when everything falls apart. I lean back and close my eyes. Who am I then? Someone who fights, sometimes in ways that aren't healthy, sometimes in ways that hurt yourself as much as the other person, but you fight. That's not nothing. I spend the weekend looking at apartments, small studios mostly, one-bedroom places that cost too much but are in neighborhoods where I won't constantly run into reminders of the life I'm leaving behind. Monday, I meet with Patricia Howe, the lawyer I consulted months ago. You were right, I tell her. I should have filed sooner, would have saved myself a lot of trouble. What changed? I tried to fix it, didn't work, now she's the one filing. Do you have the documentation you mentioned? All of it. Photos, timestamps, location data, proof of the affair. Good. That gives us leverage in negotiations, assuming you want to use it. I don't want a war. I just want out. Fair division of assets, clean break, no ongoing drama. That's reasonable. I'll reach out to her attorney once you're formally served and see what kind of settlement we can negotiate. Thank you. Mr. Halverson, for what it's worth, I think you're making the right choice. Staying in a marriage where trust is completely broken just prolongs the pain. Yeah, I'm starting to figure that out. Tuesday evening, I'm served with divorce papers. Elara had them delivered to my office. Professional, efficient, no unnecessary contact. I read through them in my car before driving to the new apartment I'm renting starting next week. Standard, no-fault divorce, 50-50 split of assets, no alimony requested. She's making it easy. Or maybe she just wants it over with as quickly as I do. I sign the acknowledgement of service and mail it back. That's it. 5 years of marriage, reduced to paperwork and asset division. I sit in my car outside the new apartment building and think about calling Elara. Not to argue, not to rehash everything, just to say something, to acknowledge that this is really happening, but I don't know what I'd say that hasn't already been said. So I start the car and drive to the hotel where I'm staying until the new place is ready. My phone buzzes. A text from Elara. I'm sorry it ended this way. I really did love you. I just couldn't be what you needed me to be. I read it 3 times before responding. I loved you too. Good luck with everything. She doesn't respond. There's nothing left to say. I lie on the hotel bed and stare at the ceiling, thinking about all the nights I did this same thing in our apartment, wondering where she was, who she was with, whether she'd come home. Now I know the answers to all those questions. And knowing didn't fix anything. It just confirmed what I'd already suspected, that some things, once broken, can't be repaired. You can document them. You can understand them. You can even control them to some degree, but you can't fix them. I close my eyes and wait for sleep that doesn't come. 3 weeks later, I'm in my new apartment. It's small, furnished with the basics: bed, couch, table, desk. Everything I need, nothing I don't.